Okay.
Hello, my name is Violent Gamer,
And I'm MistMaster1.
and this is our GDQx and AGDQ 2020 submission for 2-player 1 controller for Kingdom Hearts 1 Final Mix, beginner 90%.
All right.
We're gonna start in 3, 2, 1.
You get the timer ready. It's important. Go. Yay! We started the timer right this time. Fantastic. Okay.
All right. So this is exactly like it sounds. It's a 2-player 1 controller run. That means I'm gonna be controlling the left side of the controller. He's going to be controlling the right side of the controller. We think it's going to be a pretty fun run to watch. Pretty silly. But we're also going to try to go fast, of course.
Yes. This is more for a fun run than anything, but hopefully we'll nail some pretty difficult strats. I mean, maybe we won't. We'll see. We can barely walk around sometimes, but it'll be okay.
Yeah. So basically, I'm controlling walking and the shortcut menu, as well as the command menu. What else? Oh, also switching lock-ons.
I'll pretty much be taking care of all of the other commands, which includes changing the camera, locking on enemies, attacking, jumping, dodge rolling, interacting with objects, stuff like that.
Yeah. So we have an unskippable cutscene, of course. 3 minutes, 20 seconds long. So this would be a good time for some donation. No,
well, basically what you're going to see throughout is the heavily utilization of what's called pretty much physical attacks, magical attacks, summons. There's quite a lot of resources within the confines of KH1 that actually do get used quite a bit. Although it is beginner mode actually allows us to do a few things we normally couldn't do otherwise, because it does start us off with quite a few rare items in order to get through the game very quickly.
Yeah, we start with 8 power boost, 8 defense boosts, and 4 AP boosts. We're going to be saving the AP boosts to sell for gummy parts.
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah, normally this run is under 2 hours and 20 minutes, and we're going to try to get around that time, but...
No promises. We'll see what happens.
Since there's a lot of RNG in the run, we have to kind of communicate well, and sometimes it's hard to even do that.
Yes. You will see various moments where we'll be just talking to each other, making sure we know exactly what each other's doing. And sometimes maybe we won't, and we'll just do something really stupid, but that's kind of the fun point of this, so.
And we're gonna take our time with a few parts, like movement especially, because you can get punished really hard if we don't.
This is going to be pretty tricky because we're going to be trying to explain a few things along the way, but also we're going to be trying to talk to each other, so we're both on the same page. So this should be fun. All right, Central will be ending in just a minute. Any other things you want to mention before we get right into the run?
Cutscene skips are weird.
Yes. Oh, the way it's choreographed is I'll have to pause it. He'll have to
go down to skip,
and I actually have to confirm to skip the thing. Yeah. So here's our first real interaction coming up in just a moment here. This intro ends in like 10 seconds. Don't worry, we're almost there. Okay. So coming up right quick, here's going to be the very first thing we do in the run. Let's see if we can pull it off. All right. And hey, we did the first thing. Very nice. Okay, so we're going to start off the run by picking up our initial starting weapon, which is going to be the staff. Staff will be very important for things such as having an additional bar of MP, giving us a good ability path, and also an extra MP we get via leveling up. And with such abilities such as Air Combo Plus and Leaf Bracer, which will be very helpful towards the later part of the game. And we're also going to be dropping the shield. This is what this tutorial does. You pick one weapon that enhances your stats, one weapon that just kind of detracts from your stats, and we won't really be needing the shield because that's defense oriented and more beginner mode pretty much. Ooh, nice little slide by Sora there because that little cutscene skip, that's good.
I'm gonna hold forward.
Hold forward?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. So you'll just see like we're kind of working, communicating a little bit. This is going to be pretty difficult in quite a few areas later on, but thankfully in the earlier part of the game it's a lot less complicated.
2 combo?
No. Maybe, possibly. That's okay. Shadows can go underground, just kind of be a nuisance like that. That's all good. And just one more thing right there. They just take one full combo to kill, and there we go. had that insane focus for the cutscene skips there. It's all good. We'll have these things which are pretty much the same thing as situation, not interactivity with various objects like chests and such. We use the triangle button. If we're fortunate, unfortunately didn't get that, we can sometimes get a jump, but like we said, a lot of choreographing between him moving, me inputting jump and attack and stuff like that. It's a little bit tricky. It's okay. Yeah, like we said, there's a couple of minor movement things we can do there to save a little bit of time, but it's not that big of a deal. And what we're going to do here, this next part determines our how we level up throughout the game, so we're pretty much just going to pick all the top options. What this will primarily do is allow us to level up early, like faster in the earlier portion of the game compared to later portion of the game, and by the time we start to slow down in terms of level up, we'll already be strong enough by the end of the game, and everything should work out perfectly fine. So top choices there, our EXP path is set, and that's pretty much all we're going to be doing to get our initial stats all set up.
Yeah, we'll be around level 45 by the end of the game.
Mm-hmm. Here's the second fight. This is just another mob of shadows. These guys can be pretty tricky to deal with. Yeah, starting like so. Oh, and also don't mind us. This also does take a good bit of concentration, so it's a little bit tricky. Ideally, I want to try to kill a couple at a time. Like that was a little bit better. We got 2 there. A little bit finicky there. We'll also be trying to, we'll be locking onto various enemies, trying to choreograph exactly what we want to do. Sometimes it's not exactly going to work out because it's just really difficult to do this, but I mean, we're here to just have a fun time.
Yeah.
Okay. And so right here, we're just going to make our way to the next boss, but before our first boss actually. But first, we're just going to do a quick menu here. These are the rare items that you start with on beginner mode. These are the power-ups and the defense ups. So I'm in charge of just sitting. Violin just sits here. I'll just mash these out. That's all good. And also because I'm going to be controlling the camera, I'm going to ask nicely that he puts me into the config like so. Third to last option there, inverts the camera. Now we're pretty much all set, ready to go.
Cool. Mm-hmm. So now we have Dark Side. Basically, we're just going to be doing 4 air combos on his arm. We'll be done.
Mm-hmm. It's just a pretty much... You can actually lose this fight, but in other categories it is advised that we do that. But for this, simply put, we're just going to do a series of 4 combos like you said. And hopefully the shadows don't bother us in the meantime. Very good. And we're going to toss this potion because we're going to want an empty item inventory to make our menus a little bit more cleaner. Although our menus might be a little bit all over the place because it is 2 people. But I mean, if we haven't sold that point already, I mean, I guess we never will. All right, you want to explain how Destiny Islands works?
Yeah, we're basically collecting stuff for Kyrie. There's 2 logs, 1 rope, 1 cloth, and that's it for the first day, right?
Yeah, it's just a basic set of movements we're going to be going through. We're going to use this barrel here. Okay, let's get on top of that. 3, 3, 2, 1, go. You'll be seeing that. Oh, come on, man. So this position is a little bit awkward.
3,
okay,
2, 1, go.
There we go. Yeah, we'll be doing various moments like that throughout the run because there will be some kind of finicky platforming we really can't afford to fall off where we lose a lot of time.
3, 2, 1,
go. And we're just going to pretty much make our way across Destiny Islands. It's okay. If you land on that palm tree there, we can save a little bit of time, but like we said, it's a little difficult to nail some of the tricky movement parts of this game when you're trying to have half the controller split between 2 people, so... Basic tutorial area just to get you acclimated as to how Sora moves, or maybe just how Violin knows how Sora moves. I mean, I'm not really controlling him, but that's okay. And we're going to take a brief little detour over to this side because there is actually a ladder up here that allows us to get to this island like so. It saves like a quarter of a second if you do it right, so just take our word for it. And that's pretty much the end of day 1. Very short first introductory day, and there'll be a second day we have quite a bit more to do.
Cool. We have a series of like 4 cutscenes here to skip.
So this would be a good time for donation reading.
Yeah, platforming is definitely up there with some of the hardest stuff in this run.
Absolutely.
even the simplest platforming like that.
Yeah, surprisingly, boss fights are like not as difficult in this, which you'd think.
You would think.
Yeah, the boss fights would be more difficult than the platforming, but you'd be wrong. So. Right here, just collecting a few fish. This is just our start to day 2 as well. It's pretty much just a big collectathon between these 2 days, and we'll have just like one real movement-oriented part towards like the halfway point of this day, and that's pretty much like the only real notable thing we're doing outside of collecting stuff, is there will actually be a race that we're going to be doing with one of the other members of the island, which is Riku.
Yeah, and that race includes platforming.
Oh, yes. You'll notice I'm also just kind of gradually turning the camera. We're going to try not to use R3, which if you use R3, it allows you to put the camera right behind Sora, which is going to kind of screw up the movement a little bit because it's such a rapid transformation from where we're currently facing to just having the camera right behind Sora. 3, 2, 1, go. That's good. And just grab that seagull egg. Maybe? No.
Nope.
Oh, we didn't even check. That's okay. We'll need a couple coconuts, which drop from those trees right there, but there's plenty to farm off of in this next little part coming up. And so here is the Riku Race of Destiny Islands. It is a series of, actually, a little bit tricky platforming, but hopefully with reasonable communication we can get through this without too much of a problem. So let's do this. Okay. So good. Try not to get rid of that platform because it'll make Riku end the race faster. It's a little bit tricky of an angle, but we got that. Next thing up here, we have the zipline. We're going to grab right onto it and just not do anything so we don't fall off. Jump right there. That's okay. That's okay. That's not a big deal. If we don't make the platforming, we can always take the second path. 3, 2, 1, go. Go. We're just going to go, hopefully, not fall off. There we go. Okay, that's nice. But see, this is pretty much just...
I'm just going to hold.
Yeah, we just hold the direction and jump, and nice. A little bit careful there. Sometimes you can clip the top of the trees there and sort of kind of start us from it, but thankfully that didn't bother us. So even if we don't get that set of platform up to that tree, thankfully there's a good backup there, and we still won the race, so that's very good.
Well, we do have a little audience.
Maybe, possibly. We're definitely not recording this right as GDQ is going on.
Yeah, totally not.
Absolutely not. May or may not be a scuff setup going on right now. Okay, so we're just gonna clear up the rest of this day. We're gonna go right over and pick up this mushroom that's behind in a little cave behind this rock. I mean, that's where all mushrooms grow. Let's go over to here. This next part's a little bit RNG because because we can sometimes grab the tree now. But we're looking for 2 yellow coconuts like so. We're just hopefully they fall. There we go.
Pretty good RNG.
Yeah, pretty decent RNG. They could. It is possible you might even have to go to another tree if you get extremely unlucky.
So we're getting the water first and then...
Yes, we will be getting water. It's also... We will be reminding each other across this as well to make sure we know where we're going. Because there are several moments in this game where we could prioritize one thing over the other, but thankfully we have mouths, which aren't tied up like the rest of our other hands are. So we can easily communicate and hopefully avoid anything really nasty from happening. So there you go. That's pretty much the end of day 2 now.
Yep. And part of the challenge with this is breaking certain habits that we have.
Oh, absolutely. Like conforming to one person's play over the other.
Yeah.
There's a really interesting thing about this game is, although there are some things that are really solidified in terms of how they should be done, there's also a lot of very minor things that certain players just kind of introduce into their own sort of play style. And like he said, the really tricky part is kind of combining our 2 play styles into one so that neither of our play styles kind of conflict with each other. Like we'll have conflicting movement, conflicting attacks on enemies, stuff like that. Yeah. You'll also notice some cutscenes may take a little bit longer to load in than others, so we might be just hammering the buttons for like 3 seconds before anything actually happens.
It's not almost fall off this time.
There we go. Yeah, we were playing with a really weird controller beforehand, but thankfully that shouldn't be too much of an issue now.
Oh.
That's okay. Yeah, it would be amazing if we don't fail many cutscene skips this run just due to the nature of what we're doing, so... Oh, get up there. That's sometimes you can skip that little jump there if your angle's right, but just a little jump gets you over there. That's fine. And coming up is our second fight. This is actually a dark side once again, except we have to do like 7 combos now instead of 4. So first things first, just skips the cutscene scan to the fight. Target that hand right there. That's good. And hopefully just succeed at doing a series of combos like so. Nothing really too complicated about this fight. Just hoping we don't get caught underneath his arm, because then that'll just kind of like mess up our jumps a little bit like that, but not too bad. That was okay. We also may take moments to give our arms a little break here because this may be a little bit tiring to hold the controller for a little while like this. It's okay. So here's our next world. This is Traverse Town. Honestly, a pretty short visit because we'll be coming back to this place a few times. Essentially, all we're doing here is we're going to go in and summon Leon. We need Leon to show up, who's going to be our first like real major fight of this place. And you can either go around for quite a while into Traverse Town, or what we're going to do, because this is a speed run, is fast track that. And for whatever reason, the game just lets us automatically have Leon show up if we kill 5 shadows here. So ideally, they'll cooperate and group up together very nicely. Very good. Okay, that was good. You kill all the shadows with 1 hit, so 4 of them got together, just cleaned up 1 more after that, and we're pretty much good to go. And Leon should show up now once we get back to the accessory shop. Okay. And as soon as we step, as long as we're not bad at math, okay, good. We'll have this cutscene here, and Leon will show up, and we do a series of combos. That's 2 hits, 4 hits, and then one. I don't know. This fight goes by so fast, I don't know the strategy, but we're just gonna hit this guy till he dies. There we go. That's pretty much all you need to know. All right. Coming up is actually in the hotel room. Yeah, this cutscene you have to wait until what's it called?
I'm gonna raise the game volume.
Okay, raise the game audio, that's okay. You pretty much have to wait until we see Riku's perspective here, like so, and then for whatever reason the cutscene is skippable. I don't know, Square just kind of did that. That's okay. There is an elixir in this hotel room right here, but we're going to be brave and opt
not in our hotel room.
We're just going to kind of get out of this hotel room, and we're just going to say goodbye to that elixir, because we will hopefully not need it for later. That's fine. So we'll just quickly advance by talking to Leon here, and we'll be moving on to our next boss fight, which is Guard Armor. But a really important thing we're going to do before we fight Guard Armor is we're actually going to kill a series of, not White Knights, soldiers in Traverse Town. We're going to kill a total of 3 of them, because that'll give us just enough EXP, very nice, in order to hit level 7, which will be a strength boost, which will allow Guard Armor to be a much more consistent fight.
Do you guys by any chance test the mic volume?
Yes, we did. Don't worry about that. Okay.
Because it looks like it's peaking and it's
Hey, I have a limiter on. It's fine.
Okay, that's good. Okay. Yeah.
Good to know.
It's all good. And so here's our next series of fights with these soldiers here. Ideally, we kill everything. Okay, that's fine. There's usually like one guy that's left. That was still pretty good. We don't have time to explain this fight. It's okay. And now here is Guard Armor. Yeah, there's kind of an item right there, which we don't want to pick up, but that's fine. We're just pretty much the way Guard Armor works is we need to kill off all of his limbs, and then we can go for the main body. So all of his limbs have the 2 feet and the 2 arms have the same amount of health as each other. So we're just gonna kind of go for the kill there. There we go. Nice. Ideally, we kill him before he separates. So.
The real boss was the item right there.
Yes, we don't want to have any more items than necessary because this is just going to make future menus a little bit more chaotic. Okay,
and that item drop is random, by the way.
If we were playing something else like Proud Mode, where we need more money than normal, it would be very nice to have that. But in beginner mode, we're pretty much going to be all set up with money anyway. So
and it just wastes time for menus, and menus are already very hard.
Yes.
Because we can't read Japanese, and I mean we can tell what the characters are.
We can check stuff like stats and other things in the menu themselves.
But it just takes a lot more time.
Exactly.
And we have our first real menu coming up.
Also important to note, because we beat Leon, we also got an elixir, which we're pretty much just going to wait towards the end of the game to have fun with all of those. So
we also got 500 money,
which will be imperative for buying particular gummy blocks later to upgrade our ship. Okay, so next menu coming up here, we're going to communicate. First off, we're going to have, okay, that's fine. We're going to exchange that ether, Goofy's ether, for Sora, an empty spot there. Replace the ribbon with the Brave Warrior, and also put on Dodge Roll, and that's all we're going to do. So we're pretty much going to be reading out the menus to each other just to make sure we know exactly what's going on. So. And also, we're just going to leave through this save point and head off to our first real world of the game.
But before that, we have a gummy menu.
Yes. And gummy menu, this might seem a little bit weird, but we're actually going to get rid of pretty much our entire ship right out the gate. like so. And we're pretty much only just going to have an engine and a gun at our disposal.
That was so much better.
That was so much better than practice. We spent like 10 minutes trying to figure out what we were doing there. And I mean, ideally, you wouldn't actually need a gun for beginner mode, but like we said, we're trying to make sure we're being as absolutely safe as we can, considering it's two different people playing the same game. So a gun is warranted in this case.
And because we want to rest our hands, we figured out that there are certain spots in these gummy missions where you can just stay in one place and make it all the way to the end without having to touch any buttons.
So in this particular case, we're just pretty much right in the top right of the screen, and we're just going to wait until we get to our next world. So this would be a very good time for donations. We're pretty much not doing anything. So it will look scary because we're going to be like one hit away from death, but we should be
There's
fine.
also a wall that looks like it'll hit you, but you just go right through it for some reason. I am in the corner, right? Yeah.
Yes, it's very important that we're in the right spot, otherwise the strat won't work. So you'll see some of those obstacles that are coming up are gonna like just barely not hit us, which does look scary because those would kill us. Because you see, because we took all that armor off, we have next to no health or shield or anything, whatever you want to call it. The green bar, which is essentially HP for the gummy ship, it does weaken us quite considerably. But because we took off all the armor from the base model, we just go super duper fast, and I think in PS4, even because the loads are so fast, we actually make up the time within the gummy mission that we just spent actually taking it apart and just making our own. So coming up here is Wonderland, our first real world of the game we've had to venture off to. And it's also a pretty short world, but there are a few annoying things about it that we'll have to be careful about. Okay. And make our way over to this door. There we go, that's fine. Yeah, there might be a few moments where we might be a little surprised by each other's choices, but I mean, that's also the fun of it, you know? We'll see. Alright, and just doing some more movement over here, that's fine. And our objective for this world is we're going to get one piece of evidence. You could get all four if you wanted to, and that does make the trial that comes up a little bit easier, but in this particular case, we only need one to actually move on for the rest of this world, so we're just going to get the nearest piece of evidence that's available for us. It is also possible to get Blizzard early in this world, but Blizzard's not going to be really helpful for anything until we get to our next world anyway, so we're not going to bother with that. Okay, we're going to start off by using a series of fires. Hopefully nothing... that's okay. Yeah, that's good. Okay, yeah. Series of fires, get a little bit of EXP there, ride this wall a little bit so we don't spawn any extra enemies, get our first piece of evidence, and pretty much just get right back in there. So, that's good. Okay. And so the way the trial works here is, since we only have one piece of evidence, that's all we're going to really be having to kind of defend ourselves. The way we're going to be looking really intently here, I believe... Yeah, I was thinking middle as well. Hopefully, when we pick the middle box here, we're thinking it's the first one that hit the ground, and the first one that hits the ground actually has the Heartless within it. Very nice, that's it. And because of that, we won't have to sit through an extra animation of Donald and Goofy getting captured, and we'll also have them available to potentially disrupt the cards while we do this next fight right here. That's good, okay. A really annoying thing about Crank Tower is that was actually quite nice. Once you break all the cranks, it doesn't really have a lock-on immediately, but if we sandwich a card, like the tower between a card and Sora, what actually ends up happening is Sora will get a hit on the Crank Tower, and for whatever reason that will enable a lock-on to actually spawn there, so that worked out very conveniently. And then from this point onward, we're pretty much just going to be making our way to the next boss, and we're just going to do this series of rooms and platforming. And speaking of platforming, oh, that's okay. We're going to be communicating a little bit just to make sure we're on the same page here. So, a little bit of focus time here. Because if enemies spawn here, it's really bad. So grab this ledge right here. Wait. 3, 2, 1, jump. That's good. Get up there. If you touch the floor, you get like anywhere near that, a bunch of enemies spawn, and we can't interact with anything while enemies are around us, so it's imperative we just avoid them at all costs. 3, 2, 1, jump. Okay. You could dodge roll across that, but that is extremely sketchy with 2 people, so we're not going to abide by that.
Yes, we should.
Okay,
Right,
so turn the camera. That's fine. Okay, yeah. We're gonna try to line up this way. 3, 2, 1, jump, and a little bit Keyblade swing just for a little bit extra height. Jump here. Activate that. Good. Okay, that's probably the scariest room in this entire place, and that's out of the way now, so that's good.
And then you can dodge roll and flip the camera.
Yes. Okay.
then
It's a
I'll start
little bit tricky to do that. Like you have to exchange. Oh, that's okay. Yeah. So this table can have some little bit of weird hit detection there, but we got up there. A little bit awkward to do dodge rolls and flipping the camera at the same time, but you get used to it. So with Trickmaster here, our ideal strat is we're just going to try to get in as many hits as possible. Once he gets up like this, trying to get to the peak of our jump and then do another series of attacks. It is kind of tricky to pull off. But if we get to the very, very height of our jump and then attack, we can just hit Trickmaster's hitbox and make this not as difficult. This could be a little bit messy. Yeah, sometimes he can get away from you like this, but if he's nice, he'll just kind of stop what he's doing like so. And, yeah.
Alright.
All things considered, could have been a lot worse. Sometimes you can just go all the way over to the other side where that little chimney thing is and just kind of be a nerd, but thankfully he cooperated decently.
It can be tough with 2 people because you have to position between his legs.
And there's a very small range where you can actually hit him. So, I mean, that strat is difficult even for, like, 1 person to do consistently. So the fact that fight went as well as it did with 2 people, we take those. That wasn't bad at all. And yeah, like we said, Wonderland is a pretty short world. We're pretty much out of there already, so we're just going to move on to world number 2. Well, I guess world number 4 at this point, but traveling to our second world now. Coming up will be Deep Jungle, and once again, do I fire during this?
Yep.
Yes, okay. Just making sure, that's why we're communicating. We're pretty much just going to stay at the top of the screen, and I hold the fire button down, and this should pretty much assure that we don't have any issue going to this next world.
Yeah.
Very important to note, now that we've beaten Trickmaster, we now have access to the Blizzard spell, and that's going to be a spell we use quite a bit during this next world coming up.
It's very good for crowd control.
And there's
a lot of mob fights coming up.
There will be quite a bit of mob fights coming up. One of the more notorious parts of the earlier part of the game, for sure, but hopefully they treat us well when we get there. Of course, I get to do all the work while Violin just gets to sit.
You're just holding a button.
I know, dude. Come on, I'm doing more than you. It's okay. But yeah, thankfully, because we took all the armor off of our ship, these gun missions will not take very long. Like, we're almost there already. Like, you'd honestly... It might not seem like much, but if you put, like, a side-by-side comparison of our ship versus the initial ship, you'd see just how much faster these gun missions actually go. It's honestly crazy.
Also, on the way back to Wonderland, I do all the work.
Hey.
Don't forget about that.
It's okay. I'm just complaining while I have the chance. I'm good at complaining, so...
I don't think we mentioned this, but none of this text here is skippable. Any of the text that you see.
Text box cutscenes in KH1, you just kind of have to mash through, just to the end. In later games, they were nice enough to allow you to skip this, but as KH1, obviously, it's the first game. There's a few things that might not really lend itself too well to the practicality of it, and we just have to mash through text. Here's Sabor. This fight is pretty quick, but it's also pretty annoying. We're going to try to go for about 6 hits, and then a 7th hit with the finisher, and that should kill like so. So, no real problems there. And next up, we're just gonna make our. Yeah, that happens sometimes. We're gonna fast track our way pretty much to the. Oh, that's okay. We're gonna fast track our way to the tent where we're gonna just pick up some slides. But before we do that, touch this save, because not only do saves fully heal you in this game, but by touching a save, you actually open up that spot for later to potentially warp to. And a nice thing about this game is we can actually warp to and from save points consistently. and by just opening up the pathway, it allows us for quicker backtracking, because PS4 loads are so fast now. It'll be faster that we go from one save point to another in order to actually get to the next part or like major event of the world in order to progress. So very important to get that.
Also, there's a jungle slider minigame that you can just skip out of. You don't actually have to play it to make it down here.
Yeah, and I remember back in the old days, we'd have to like jump onto the other side of where the treehouse was and just go all the way around. But that's just pretty much a surefire way to get to the campsite right away. And nothing really special here, just advancing a few slides here. This will get us to the next point of the world. And very conveniently, there is a save point located inside of this tent. So as soon as we're done here, we're pretty much just going to go right inside that save point, leave the world, and then redock back at that save point we touched previously. And that's going to cut down on some travel time that we would normally spend going to the treehouse now. But since this is open, we can pretty much just go right up here. So that's good. Seems a little bit counterintuitive to a degree, but trust me, it is a little bit faster to do movement this way. We kind of come in from like the back end of this place instead of just going directly from the tent to where these guys are located.
I think it's like 5 seconds faster.
Yeah, it's something.
Warp.
Yeah, something like that. It's not like super major, but it does add up over time pretty quickly. So.
And no one wants to do hippo hop.
Yeah. Oh, especially with
two players. Yeah. Back in the day, there used to be. We pretty much skip one entire room, which is the. Hippo Lagoon, I believe it's called, something like that. And there was a series of really tricky platforming that would have to come from that, but thankfully, now that save warps are a thing, we can just completely omit that, which, if we had to do that, that would be quite a mess, so that's good. Yeah, sometimes. little excited there with the camera, so my bad there, that's fine. And now coming up is the mob fights we were talking about previously. These will be the Power Wilds, and ideally we'll be able to use Blizzard to pretty much take them out because they only die in a couple. It would help if I target it. There we go. That was there's one little straggler there. That's fine. That's good. Okay. Yeah. There's might be a little bit of a strange thing where we're trying to alternate between magic and physical attacks, but
I thought you were gonna...
No, it's okay. It's the one time you expected I don't do it. That's fine. And like we did before, we're actually gonna save warp once again back to the place that we save warp to previously, because the Power Wilds will be literally just 2 screens away from this save point. So I believe this saves like maybe like 3 or 4 seconds, something like that. It is still a nice little optimization. Now, ideally, what we're going to want to do is try to get over here. Just a couple of blizzards. They might move out of the way. No, that's good. We got all 3 right there. That's fine. Use next.
I don't want to use more.
Save our MP. That's fine. And just get over there. Not too bad. Okay.
Cool.
And we avoid
just enough.
Yeah, we have just enough. That's good. We want to avoid also any particular potions, because that's just going to clog our inventory, but thankfully there are moments, especially after we beat bosses, where we can just kind of chuck items like we did in the dark side fight. So in the off chance we do pick it up, then it's not a big deal, we can just burn it later. The spawn here is random in the treehouse. Let me just physically kill this guy. Hopefully... Okay, I'll just do another physical hit there. It takes 2 blizzards, or 1 set of blizzards, and... let's use blizzard here, that's good. 1 blizzard, 1 physical attack, 2 blizzards, 3 physical hits, something like that. Like, those are the 3 combinations you can pretty much do to kill the enemies. We're gonna pop in Ether right quick, just because we'll want full MP for these next few fights. Got a nice little quick ledge grab there. That was pretty fast. Okay, a little bit of Keyblade swing for a little bit extra boost, so we make that. Get to this group right here. That's okay. Yeah, another thing we also have to be mindful of, just physical attacks to kill this guy. Another thing we have to be mindful of is that if we're not high enough in the air when we cast magic, when Sora lands, that won't fully go through. So it is up to me, sorry, it is up to me to jump high enough before I cast the magic in order to,
whoops.
That's okay. It's up to me to cast the magic. That's a little bit messy. Let's relocate a little bit. That's okay. That's alright. In this instance, you know, we don't really have any MP, so we're just gonna have to use physical attacks, but it's not too big of a deal. Like we said, these guys only die in a couple physical hits anyway. That's fine, and if we have a fire, yeah, very nice. You read my mind. That's good. Nice intuition there. And we can pretty much deal with the Power Wilds there. No real issue there. And also, we got an MP upgrade, if you notice there. One important thing to note about the MP in this game is the more max MP you actually have, the stronger your magic gets. That's going to be important for a few cases later, but I mean, just for the time being, note that like our fires and blizzards would do slightly more damage now that we have 4 MP as opposed to 3 MP. Okay. Sabor 2, that's fine. Yeah, series of fires. There's a couple openings you can get with this fight. It's okay. We'd ideally like to get a parry, or that can happen as well. This is a little bit clunky of a fight, but it's not too bad. Just get over there. Yeah. That's fine. Yeah, thankfully our party member is helping us out a little bit. Still got through it all good. We want to try to avoid Sabor getting away from us in those little bamboo shoots over there, and thankfully he never did, so it worked out fine. But yeah, it's always annoying when you get that particular pattern because he just takes a while to get over there. You don't really know truly when he's going to pounce at you. We ideally want to look for something where he's kind of just getting right up in our face immediately. That sets it up much better, but we did what we could there, and that still worked out fine.
So now we're going to hit a fruit 15 times.
Yes. And let's see if I can hit that 0. I got a 1. We better reset, dude. That's a frame lost. But you might be wondering, well, why are we going around manually this time instead of save warping once again? The answer is actually pretty interesting. The pathway to the... oh, that's okay. We want to target this guy. 5 full combos takes care of it. The reason we don't save warp from the tent back to this particular place is if you do take the save, the back entrance is actually blocked by vines and we cannot enter the load zone. So we pretty much are forced to go around the normal way for story reasons.
I learned that the hard way.
I did too, and it was not fun. Like, I was like, dude, we can use save warp, we can integrate save warping to cut down time here, and I was like, what? There's a patch of vines here that we can't do anything with? Oh, that's so lame. But either way, we're coming up to the end of this world pretty soon now, and this is going to be the claim fight. It's divided into 2 phases, and the first one's going to be done pretty soon. The real part of this world is the second phase, so just a series of combos there. We're going to try to go for an animation skip. Looks like we should get it. Very nice. If you do a series of combos when you bait clean up to that platform right there, might want to press, okay, L2. There we go. Might do a series of combos. We can kind of skip an animation, that stealth stick we normally do. I believe it's 14, and then 1 full combo for 17 hits should get the kill. That was very nice. Ta! And as you see, there's just kind of this little fade out that comes with every boss, and under like most circumstances we pretty much just have to wait, but there will be a couple instances where we can actually do stuff while the fight's fading out, but those only come into play a couple times. And this part is very notorious. This is Waterfall Cavern, has some of the most jank platforming in the game. That's okay. Yeah, as you can see right here, that's fine. Just want to get up there, that's good. And we're going to be a little bit safe here. There is a particular jump you could do. Oh, that was a little close. There's a particular jump you could do to make this a little bit faster, but this top route's very safe, and with 2 people at the helm, we want to make sure we get through that as cleanly as possible. So that was pretty good. Not too bad of a deep jungle. Okay, now it sucks. But yeah, pretty decent deep jungle. Alright. And there's pretty much just a series of cutscenes here. I get to do all the work for a little bit because we can't skip anything, so...
But then I get to do all the work for the gummy ship.
That's all good, so... I'll just pretty much man the helm. You can use 2 buttons, your confirm and the triangle button, in order to advance text really quickly. It is a little bit awkward to kind of tap both of those with one hand, but it's okay. We're making it... Normally, if I was playing, I would use like both my thumbs to advance it pretty quickly. It'd be a little bit more convenient that way, but I mean, I'm not allowed to use this hand, so just gotta kind of make the best of what you got. And at this point, this is pretty much the big backtracking section of the game, where now that we've completed Wonderland and Deep Jungle, you take that. I need a little bit of a break, man. Now that we've completed Wonderland and Deep Jungle, we now have 2 Navi G pieces, which will allow us to essentially enter what is the middle part of the game, or second Ring of Worlds, which will be starting with Agrabah, but more on that when we actually get there. So.
Yeah. And you might be wondering why we're not staying at the top here and holding circle to fire the gun this time. Because on the way to Wonderland, if you kill too many enemies, you actually get a ribbon for your gummy ship. It's like a decoration, and it makes gummy menus take longer than usual.
And there's already going to be a good amount of clutter with 2 people playing. By the way, did you guys know there's 2 people playing with 1 controller? We have only said that about 100 times this thing so far. But yeah, pretty much anything that just makes our lives a little bit easier when it comes to menuing, movement, all that. We just pretty much want to take any opportunity we have to just avoid that entirely. So. It is worth noting that once we get through this next revisit of, well, I guess the first revisit of Traverse Town, we'll actually be buying gummy upgrades to speed up gummy missions even further, because it might seem like right now they are still kind of taking a little bit of time, but the gummy missions actually get longer than this, than our initial starting phase here, so thankfully once we get through Traverse Town 2, we'll have a way to speed up gummies considerably via a new engine, and also a nice new gummy part that actually allows us to boost periodically. Okay, I have to do my very important portion here, which is making sure we can actually get back to the world map. So instead of docking in Wonderland, because it's useless, we're just going to return to world map like so. And we're going to head back to Traverse Town. And he's going to do the stuff again, so thank you.
No problem.
I know you're doing a lot of hard work too, so yeah. It's so, I can't tell you how nice it is. There actually is downtime, even with 2 people at the helm, that we can just give ourselves a little bit of a break, because it can be pretty awkward for a while there, just kind of one half being held for each person individually there.
Another good spot for donations.
Yes. There's
Or a Disney song.
or a Disney song. I don't think we'll have Disney songs in
don't know.
GDQx. that's
Maybe
fine.
AGDQ, I don't
Maybe AGDQ. We'll see.
I can bring my violin, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, you submitted a decent amount of covers already, so that was good. How many of those have actually been played?
I know Megalovania was played, Hogwild from Crash 1 was played.
Nice.
And, there's another one played. I can't remember.
It's okay. And I know, like, it looks scary again, because it's like, oh no! And there's like a wall right there, but we literally
That's
just...
the last hit we
Yeah,
take.
that's the last hit. So we don't really have much to worry about now, but yeah. It is a little bit sketchy. I always just trust Violin, because he does it, and I usually don't, because I'm paranoid as heck, but...
Okay, it was a Super Mario Galaxy cover.
Nice, that's
that we
good.
played, yeah.
And coming up next is our revisit of Traverse Town. Like, yeah, it does take a little bit of time to get back here. Thankfully, backtracking to worlds isn't going to be too bad soon as well, because on top of the gummy parts we're going to be getting, we're actually going to be able to warp back to worlds we have visited at least once and complete the gummy route too. So, thankfully, there will not be any more instances of that where we just have to manually go back to worlds via normal drive.
So we are not killing the yellow nocturnes, right?
I usually end up having to anyway, but we'll see what happens.
Okay, let's just pass it.
Yeah, well, we compromise a lot of stuff. So, like right here, I usually turn around and use Blizzard. That's okay. Hopefully they're right there. Okay, that's one. Okay, just wait a minute. Come on, dude. Yeah, they love to just run around like that. That was still good. And also on top of that, we learned the Red Trinity from completing Deep Jungle previously there. So now we have access to this. An important thing to note is if you're playing on English, you can actually access this a little bit earlier in the game, which kind of changes the overall route between the first 2 visits. But as we're playing in Japanese, we pretty much just have to go the traditional route here. But in Japanese, we need to get the Red Trinity to have access to this place as intended.
Yeah, in the English version, you can just clip through that gate. But even if you can do that in English, even though you can do that, it still loses 20 seconds to JP because of how fast the text is.
That's the main reason we're playing in Japanese, is because the text is very fast in Japanese. It's one of like only 2, maybe 3 KH games where the text actually makes a difference. But in KH1, it saves quite a considerable amount of time. Like, it might not seem like much, but it does add up super, super quick. So right there, we just kind of got our, I think it's, what, Earthshine, I believe, is the name of the gem, which is going to be our first summon gem, but we don't have access to summons quite yet. We'll be getting a brief tutorial on how that works in a little while here, but essentially, now that we have the Navi G pieces and now that we have the Earthshine summon gem, our next objective is to head to the 3rd district and go to where Merlin's house is, or the Magician's Study is located. We're going to go for a kind of a cool looking thing here. This is going to be tricky. Jump, try to line it up, and use a fire, and if we line up, very nice. We can hit that while we're falling to save ourselves a little bit of time. Otherwise, we'd have to jump again, and that wouldn't be fun. A little bit of an intense platforming thing here, making sure we time our movements a little bit accordingly. We were not going to do anything too special there, just because if you fall in that water, you lose like 30 seconds or something. It's not good.
Yeah, and the direction the platforms go is random, so we have to
adapt on the fly.
Yeah, we have to pay attention a lot.
Best song in the game.
Oh, this is all you.
Thanks, man. So yeah, right side has probably considerably a little bit more work in this run, just a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know, and that's, I guess, I mean, I'm up for a challenge, so that's okay. Not to say that left side isn't
He
important.
wanted right side.
I wanted right side. It's okay.
I gave him the choice.
Right side's pretty fun, man. It means if the strats succeed, I have more of a part of doing it. No, it's all good. So again, like we said before, text-based cutscenes, we really can't do much aside from mash through them, so this is where you're actually seeing the time save from Japanese right now.
And usually anything that has to do with magic that fails is my fault.
Okay. As long as he remembers to press L1, we should be okay.
It's harder than you think.
Yeah, I've done a few things too where I'm just like, why did I not do that? I think it's just the perspective of only having one half of the controller that kind of makes you forget, like subconsciously. We're just gonna save warp once again. Oh, I almost touched that with the other hand. Hold that just for a sec. I got a little scratch there, that's fine. We're gonna warp back to the accessory shop, and this is where the rest of the bulk of our money is gonna come from, is from selling stuff we no longer need. We're pretty much just gonna be selling everything in our menu aside from the elixir and the white fang. Elixir because it'll be an important item for the end of the game to fully heal our HP and MP, and also the white fang will boost our strength even more so than it already has, so everything else we have is not gonna be that much of use to us. And hopefully by the end of this menu, we'll have 1,250 money, because that's exactly how much we need to buy the 2 gummy parts we will be obtaining at the end of this world. Sid, shut up. These text boxes go on like forever for whatever reason. Okay, so sell, go to stock, sell that, do not sell that, sell the AP up, sell that, do not sell that, sell that, 1274, we're good to go. Okay, so like we said. Now all we have is the white fang and elixir. That's going to make our menus also going, like on top of that, there's just less clutter in the menus for items, for equipment, and we'll be able to get through menus a lot quicker that way. And like we said as well, we need the money for it, so we're kind of killing like 2 birds with 1 stone. Since we have the money to buy what we need now, we have better menus later on. Simple. And this is where we will redeem the Earthshine summon gem that we got from Leon a little while ago. We'll be coming back here one more time later for one particular summon. There's a few summons you get in this game just by story progression, but there's a couple you have to come back to the Fairy Godmother specifically for. That's going to be pretty much our only... there's only going to be one more that we have to get that requires coming back to Fairy Godmother, but more on that later. And so at this point, it's very imperative right here we actually go straight to this door that's on our left side, because during this little portion where a cutscene is queued up, there's no enemies that are going to spawn, and we can't interact with stuff while enemies are around. So right there, we just open up a shortcut from the 3rd district to the 1st district that's much faster than having to go all the way back around to the 1st district the other way. So very important that we hit that there.
And now we have more text.
Yay, my favorite. Thankfully, these kind of die down considerably throughout the run, like especially when we get towards like the later parts, like in like some parts. I guess mid game still kind of has a good amount of text, but by late game, these pretty much almost all go away. There's very few moments, so it's very exposition heavy in like such as Kingdom Hearts normally is in these games.
The pace of the run really goes up from here.
Yes, especially since now we can also revisit worlds at just kind of just a dime. Now that we've been to, like every world we've seen now, we've been to at least once, so we can just kind of fast track our way there, which you'll see an example of that in just a little while here. Go back up to Sid, because now instead of being in the accessory shop, he's located right up here, you know, a very popular spot, obviously. And this is the part where hopefully we don't buy the wrong stuff. So buy, that is a flare gummy, and this is a haste gummy, there we go, and those are going to be the 2 parts we're going to be putting on our ship in just a little while here. That's pretty much going to do it for Traverse Town 2. And this is the part where the second Ring of Worlds tends to start, because you can see some whirlpools, which will get us there, but that in just a moment. We're going to equip the Flare Gummy, like so. And we're also going to put on the Haste Gummy right here, like that. Very good. We got so much better at building this ship. You don't want to know what it was like before.
You can do the thing.
Oh, the thing? Right, okay. There we go. It is actually possible that you can use the right analog stick or the D-pad to toggle that, and we were kind of like in a little bit of a debate as to who does that.
If both of us do it, it's a mess.
But as you see right there, now we just kind of warp to worlds we've been to before, which is convenient because even though it's located closer to Traverse Town on the map, do I shoot too?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Even though it's located closer to Traverse Town on the map, if you actually warp to Wonderland, the warp hole will be pretty much just right in front of you after just a couple of boosts here. You'll see right there. We need to get into that to get to our next world, which is Agrabah. Also, you'll see that especially if you compare it to the earlier gummies, we're moving considerably faster now that we have a better engine on. And also, we can periodically boost when you see that orange bar on the bottom right, just kind of refill over and over again.
And we'll be upgrading the gummy ship 2 more times to make it even faster. By the end, we'll be flying by really, really quickly.
It's also another thing to note is the way that gummy ships, gummy engines work in this game is you might think, oh, I guess we have 2 engines on, so we're getting the speed from both of them. It actually doesn't work that way. Pretty much what the game does, it just looks at your most powerful engine, and however fast that engine allows you to go is what the gummy chooses for its main speed. So the gummy ship speed does not stack in KH1.
Do engines add weight to gummy ships?
I don't believe so. I could be wrong about that, but I mean, I would suppose if they do add weight, to like the bigger ones will typically make up for it with the speed anyway that you get from it. So if they do add weight, it's usually compromised by the amount of speed it gives you anyway. So not really that important to note. Everyone's favorite world, Agrabah. World is very notorious for having a couple of boss fights that aren't exactly the most fun, but we'll get to those when we get to those. We're going to start off this world just by simple movement up to our first real story event, encountering Jasmine. We're pretty much going to be trying to avoid all... There might be a few moments you think there might be a couple required fights we have to do to access a few other things, but under most circumstances, we're pretty much either just going to use save warping once again to avoid certain things, or we're just not going to bother, period. Like right here. We're just going to kind of peace out, even though the game kind of expects you to fight those enemies there, but no biggie. So from here, we're heading to Aladdin's house, unlock, or not really unlock, but just move that little thing out of the way to release the carpet. We'll need that to get to the desert. And also, we want to touch that save so we can warp to it later, and also a Mega Elixir in this chest. I don't know how Aladdin affords that, but I mean, that's cool, I guess.
He obviously bought it.
He bought it. I mean, we got 1250 money, so maybe he's just loaded like us. Alright, and moving on, this fight is rather obnoxious. Generally speaking, we're going to try our best to kind of group the bandits together. This fight is a required thing. Let's do a few physical hits here. Yeah, physical hits there. But not too bad. Let's use some blizzards again. They take a couple blizzards to die. Ideally, it is going to be tricky, especially with 2 people to kind of group them all together, but this has actually been pretty decent so far. This might be the last guy right here. That was actually really very solid. That fight, really... like, they can spread out all over the place, and they were thankfully very well contained together, so that worked out quite well.
Whoops.
Yep. Cutscene skips at it again. We also have the option to switch in party members if we choose to, but every time you leave through a save, it gives you your default party back anyway. And we don't even menu Aladdin into this anyway. Come on, dude. So, in events that we actually do I think we don't really use save warping much when we actually do have our party members switched out, though. But just a neat little thing. There's no point in menuing Aladdin there, since we're going to lose him when we get out of that save point
Don't
anyway.
forget about the menu here.
Yeah, so we have a menu here. Quickly, we're just going to replace our Kingdom Key with Jungle King. Oh, right. Replace that with White Fang, give Goofy the EXP necklace, and also we're going to put on Scan for safety, and I believe that's it.
Yeah.
Okay. And you might be thinking, that was intended, don't worry. You might be thinking, why give the EXP necklace to Goofy? Well, the nice thing about it is, it might not seem... Ooh, that was really good, too. Yeah, just physical hits, that's fine. Let's go. Okay, that's good. And we're gonna time
3, 2, 1.
No, that's okay. We can still make it. Oh, we still spawn enemies. That's okay. That's fine. Okay, that's okay. Yeah, we were a little bit rushed there. That I take responsibility for that because I jumped a little too soon. Hopefully, when we go back in here, we won't see a certain thing. Turning the camera is hard. Okay.
We should count. 3.
Oh, okay. 3, 2. Dude, what? You counted to 3 and that's it. Okay. Okay, for real this time.
All right.
Okay, hopefully we don't get black fungus. Let's see. Okay, there we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. And first try. Nice, we nailed it. Okay, that's good. What was I saying before? The reason you might be thinking, well, why replace our EXP necklace is so long as the person who has it in the party... Oh, jeez. Oh, man, the camera always is... Ever since it got ported to PS4, the camera's always been weird there. That's okay. As long as the person who has the EXP necklace is in your party, you still gain the benefit of the percentage boost from the accessory itself, so... how rude. And obviously, this is the first time we've really needed an upgrade to our Keyblade because we're going to start using physical attacks again, so we waited until then. Ideal thing we want to do is just kind of well, before I explain that, here's Pot Centipede. We want to try to just get in a lot of attacks ASAP. It can be kind of finicky here just because, that's okay. It can be kind of finicky here just because there's so many things you can clank off of. Hopefully we can get over there in time. Got to be a little bit faster with our combos. This might be a little bit tight, but we might just make it. That's okay. If he does break apart, he will die pretty soon after. Also, now that we've, wow, I didn't get hit a single time during that. That's cool. Now that we have scan there, you can see our health, the health in the top left. Now we don't have to really guess, although we kind of have a general idea as to when enemies will die, but just having a nice visual cue, once again, will clear up any potential confusion there. Also, another thing to note, we pretty much also delay menus considerably until the point where it's the most convenient to do them. So it's like we didn't put on Jungle King earlier because it would have just been better for a few things we would have done in this world anyway, which we wouldn't have had the stuff to do until after that fight we just did there. So I don't know if you want to explain this.
We're just gonna do one, single hits above the eye. There is a faster way to do this, but this one's way safer for 2-player, 1 controller.
It's also notable that if we attack too early, we'll also... that's okay. Just, oh, jeez. Just get over there, that's fine.
That was completely planned.
RNG manipulation. Okay, there we go. I think if we're quick, we might just make this going to be a little bit close. One more. That's okay. I got a little too greedy there, but thankfully, it's not too bad to just get back up here, like so. There we go.
Nice.
Easy. Okay.
Right.
Thankfully, we do have enough coordination to ascend Tiger Head when needed. But yeah, if we only just didn't do that dodge roll, would have got the kill there. That's okay. Very minor though. Okay, and we're pretty much just gonna make our way to Jafar now, and this is one of the few instances in the whole game I think you have to break something in order to open up another area. I mean, you do that a couple times, but it's like a mandatory thing. You'd think this is one of those times it's like an Easter egg that unlocks like a secret passageway or something, but swag, very nice. We need to do that to actually advance, which it's not very obvious at all. It seems extremely cryptic, but I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. Notable thing about... actually, I shouldn't have to talk about Tiger Head now, it's fine. We're just going to make our way to Jafar. Jafar 1 kind of has a wonky strat, but with good timing and hopefully good positioning as well, we won't have to worry too much about it. The only real thing we have to note about it is we're going to try to force a particular, pattern from him, where we're going to make our third hit of our combo a magic-based thing. That'll basically put him in this sort of anti-magic sphere, which will prevent him from moving, and we can also stagger him out of it. And the ideal thing here is we will hopefully get a 1 cycle, although it can be a little bit tricky. Ooh, that was a little close.
Ooh.
Still got it. You want to be careful he doesn't go off the ledge. Okay, this should be...
I want to do finishers.
Okay, that's fine. Jump a little bit here. Oh, come on. That's fine. And we should be able to get the kill here. Yes,
nice.
Just made it. Very good. Yeah, it's also important to note there that if Jafar goes too far off the ledge, he will also just kind of peace out because he needs some kind of land underneath him to not have it the game think that he's just floating in the air randomly. But thankfully, if you're very clever about it, we can just get the quick kill like we did there. So that was very nice. At worst, we would have only had to have killed... Oh, nice. At worst, we would have only had to have, like, gone through another 10 seconds to finish him off, but it's really nice to get that strat, so very nice. Even though I did most of the work, thank you for not making me fall off. So there we go. And now here we have Genie Jafar. We're going to start this fight off with using Blizzards, because yes, if you look in the top left, that actually does damage. Little nice thing about that. We're going to switch over to Iago, which is only affected by physical damage. I hate when that happens. Hopefully, sometimes he can get stuck over here, which is a little unfortunate. We kind of want to... Yeah, this is going to be a little bit rough, but that's okay. We want to try to make it so that he goes to the other side, but in this case... Oh, that's okay. Target Jafar. We're going to try to use some Blizzards now. Oh, get over there to the left. No, that's fine too. Okay. We're going to use some Blizzards once again. There isn't really much of a great backup strat whenever that does happen, but hopefully we might be just barely good enough. He's getting a little too low there. Might want to check on Iago in a bit here. Not right now, but that's fine. Dodge through that, or not. That's okay. Oh yeah, I'm starting to see what you mean. And Iago's chilling out a little bit there. A little unfortunate when that does happen. Press L2, that's good. Where's he going? Can we make that? Probably not. Just wait it out a little bit. I'm gonna go for it. 3, 2, 1, go. That's okay. Yeah, sometimes you get away with it, but that's fine. Okay,
all right.
It happens. Yeah, unfortunately, we got a little bit unlucky there because Sora swung to the right when Iago was moving left, just because of how the game detected how Sora's positioning was to the enemy itself. And, you know, events, some things like that do happen, but thankfully...
Also, 2-player 1 controller is hard.
Yeah, it is hard, so we did the best we could. And this part is 99% violin, so I'll give him the go. Essentially what we're going to try to do here is take damage off of these rocks. And if you die early in this minigame by depleting all of your health, you actually end the minigame right away. So it's like the same thing as if you survive and clear the whole thing. So we want to try to take a death as early as we can in this stage. It's a lot harder than it looks, by the way. Like, your movement is extremely janky, and the hitbox of the rocks is quite small. I will need to do my one part for this little thing coming up in a bit.
It's one input.
My one input. As soon as he gets hits here, I'm just gonna mash this little side flip, like so, and Violin's got the rest of this. And, very good. Awesome. It's actually a pretty tight window there. Like, you only have room for like 2 or 3 mistakes during that entire thing, so... Decent Agrabah. A little unfortunate that he got away from us there at the end, but, you know, it happens. I mean, that went a lot better than it could have, though, so... Yeah, and that cutscene takes like 5 years before you can actually pause. It's weird. And we'll be getting our 3 Wishes Keyblade. It's synonymous with how we beat Deep Jungle, so we got another Keyblade, but we're not going to be putting it on right now, just because there's a couple other things we'll be getting in the next world, and the upgrade that you get from, like, the strength that 3 Wishes gives you versus Jungle King is really... I don't think it actually matters, or if it does, it barely saves any time anyway for the next boss fight. I actually don't know which, but it's not significant enough to have us warrant a equip of that. So we're going to be waiting until our next real menu when we can put on a bunch of things at once.
And believe it or not, I actually have to do stuff here.
You'll definitely see it, especially in the last mission, particularly.
And now I don't.
Yep, and now I'll just hold the buttons, and you can probably, like, this would be a good spot for donations as well, so. What do we do? Like, I'm trying to think of other things we can say in the meantime, which we've been doing pretty well with so far.
This might be a good spot. No,
This isn't KH3, my dude. Come on now. That was last GDQ. Anyway, another notable thing, like, this doesn't pop up too... I think there's only like 2 or 3 instances in the entire game. This is the thing. Whenever you actually do use a boost with your haste gum, you want to try not to do it through, like, when you're entering a loading zone. Just because once the ship, and I guess Sora too, that's fine, gets to a certain point in the mission, a boost actually isn't going to make it any faster, and it'd be just a lot better if you save it for the next area. Because if you noticed, there'll be these little transition moments where... I guess you'll see right here what I'm talking about. Like, the screen will just kind of fade out. This is like a story thing, but just like that. Like, we wouldn't want to boost during something like that, because then the game's loading in the next thing. And
yeah, you're not actually moving.
Yeah, so it's a waste of a boost, and you're still penalized with having to wait for the cooldown to use it again. So
it's not a big. You don't get penalized too much. It's like 2 seconds at most, but it all adds up.
Oh yeah, here's Monstro, by the way. Just a random whale in space. I love that Monstro and Atlantica coexist in space in the same game. It's like, you'd think, you know, ocean and... I don't think about it too much. It's
also,
just,
once Monstro reappears, you don't actually have to mash through the text, which is pretty nice.
Of course I have it. You're doing that, like, almost every time whenever there is text in the thing, so it's okay. Also, this loads in way fast compared to PS3. You have to, like, you could, like, take a nap between when this part happened and what it was on PS3. But anyway, this is kind of a nice little respite from a lot of the other parts of the game, because it's not too complicated of a world. There is one particular thing that is a little bit tricky, which if we get it, we're like actual god gamers. But if we don't get it, it's fine. It's already I would arguably say it's like the hardest thing to do movement-wise in the game, even with even if you had both hands on your controller. So if we get it, that'd be sick. Just a little extra dodge roll there, because why not? And yeah. Oh yeah, I should probably move the camera coming up soon. This is where we'll be attempting what is Chamber 3 skip. It basically just allows us to skip a room, so we're going to try our best. It is very difficult to do so, though. So. Okay, nudge up. 3, 2, 1, go. That's okay. We almost got it, but yeah, you have to be like frame perfect almost with your inputs there, like input perfect. I don't know, something, and you basically skip to this little thing right here. It's a very minor time save, so not a big deal. 8 seconds. It's not a big deal, but that would have been so cool if we got it. And we're just going to traverse over to our next boss fight now. Thankfully, if you know where to go, this world takes like virtually no time to complete, so... The whole gimmick of the stretch of this world is people try to figure out where to go, and it feels like a normal-sized world. But if you know where to go, I think this might be actually like the shortest world in the game. Maybe next to Wonderland, but something like that. All right, and we're each going to put in a very heavy effort for this next fight here. So, ideally, Parasite Cage. We just hopefully just combo him until he dies. He can be a little bit obnoxious. Also, your party members can also kind of break the stagger if they attack him a little too much. So we're hoping they're not going to do that too badly. Just get his HP down. Very nice.
By the way, I was doing absolutely nothing in that fight.
And
I moved forward.
You won't be doing much in the next fight either. That's fine though. And coming up soon will be our next little menu, because we've been waiting a little bit until we get to this particular portion here, because this will be the first of a couple shared abilities, which if you don't get that, it's essentially a thing that applies to everybody in your party once you put it on. There's just a high jump ability in this chest. I mean, I don't get it either. But now we're actually going to put on a couple abilities for Sora. Yeah, I hate when that happens. Put on the high jump ability, and now put on the Three Wishes Keyblade. There we go, we got there eventually. And now we have ourselves the extra damage that we'll have from Three Wishes, which will be nice for the next several worlds coming up as well. So yeah, that's the reason we didn't put it on initially, because there was a couple things we could have waited until after we got that there in order to make the menu a little bit just cleaner, more done. Because whenever you're menuing, particularly in RPGs, you want to just be in there as little as possible, and one good way to counteract that is to just have as few menus as you can by putting more in one menu. Get in. That's just barely too late. You can get an initial stagger and avoid that little attack there, but it's very small, not a big deal. Pretty much the same thing as last time. If you were fortunate, I will not drop the loop, and party members will not force him to break out of... Okay, if he does that, that's fine. Maybe L2. Yeah, that's good. It's still a pretty good fight. He only really got away one time at the very beginning, and then that was a pretty good fight since then, so yeah. If only we got that Chamber 3 skip, we were very close. We just need to time our inputs a little bit better, but pretty good Monstro. Which, I mean, to be fair, Chamber 3 skip kind of decides your Monstro anyway, but that's not the point. We got through it without any major issue. That's very good. Fun fact, that cutscene plays when you get to Neverland if you don't complete Monstro.
Really?
Yeah. Huh. That's one thing I really enjoy about this game, is there's like 15 alternate cutscenes that play.
That's weird. Depending
on the path you actually take to get throughout the game. Don't mind me, I just know like almost everything about this game, so. And yeah.
I know beginner any percent. That's it.
I don't. Not right now. I haven't ran this category in a while, but thankfully I've played KH1 a lot, so it's not too big of a deal. And so the game just is like, okay, what do we do? Just go to Agrabah, because it's in the same general map. But we're just going to quickly go right back to Monstro. I'll do the thing. Yep, it's good. We always have to communicate that just so we don't double input it. And a neat little thing to note about this particular version about KH1, it's actually the Final Mix version. And whenever you warp to Monstro in Kingdom Hearts 1 Final Mix, Final Mix is the important thing, he will always show up whenever you warp drive to him, so we can pretty much write it out, because there's another thing we're going to be picking up inside of Monstro that will be helpful for later in the run. And in the original, he didn't always show up, so you kind of had to do a bit of a weird route to get this thing, but as he always shows up now in Final Mix when you warp to him, we can just kind of wait until now. Yeah, this part's a little bit of a haphazard. Let's wait a bit, or not, that's okay.
Are we counting here?
Yeah, no, let's just wait, okay, and go.
All right.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, cool. Like we said, it's a little bit...
still better than practice.
Yeah, much better. And that's the Water Gleam Summon Gem, which is going to be pretty nice to have for the Dumbo summon, and Dumbo will be proven...
There's a menu here.
Oh, right, thank you for reminding me. We're just going to quickly replace, we're just going to put on Ray of Light. Doesn't really matter what we replace over, just we want to have 6 MP for the next world. Dumbo's going to be important, not really for combat, but actually for, what's it called? Movement, specifically in one particular world, but we'll address that when the time comes.
You don't even have to shoot your gun.
Oh, right, I'll just boost.
Invincible.
Yeah, a little bit of a weird thing. If you're at a very precise point here, you can literally just sit here and everything is like a millimeter away from hitting you, but they just barely miss, like that. Pretty fun.
What are hitboxes?
Hitboxes are fun. I need to do that when I play Proud again. So never, basically. And here is Halloween, and probably the first like actually difficult world in this whole thing. So, gonna do our best to get through it. There is like one particular notorious platforming section that we'll hopefully not have a hard time with,
Yeah,
but
it's the hardest part of this world.
But it is a very particular set of inputs that we have to do, so we'll worry about that when the time comes. Just coming up right quick right here. Yeah, if you're a little too close, that sometimes happens. No, okay, that should work. There we go. Up in this chest is a power-up, which, I mean, it's literally a free power-up. We might as well grab that right there. And that's going to actually allow us to, I believe, 2-cycle a boss here later in this world. Otherwise, we'd just barely be short. And just move on to the next part of the world. And this door has horrible hit detection. That's
Yeah, you can only get in from the right side.
Yeah, it's so weird. I don't know.
Basically, this cutscene is, do you want to dance? Donald says no. That's it.
Yeah, that's all you need to know. And we haven't really done this quite yet, but we'll be doing a... Well, I guess we did at the very beginning, but one quick thing we're going to do is we're just going to nab a jack of his... Oh, do not use them. That's a, well, I don't think it would get used anyway, but that's fine. Oh, and also we have a power-up to use. There we go. All right. And we're pretty much just going to nab his ethers because... He's not going to be in our party this whole world. We might as well put them to use. And magic is quite important when we do this next part of the game. So MP is going to be our best friend. I mean, it usually is anyway in KH, but especially in this particular world, we'll need a lot of it. So I'm going to go right through to the graveyard. This strat is a little bit clunky, but hopefully we can make it work. Just do a couple of blizzards right out the gate. And just a series of fights. If we actually... Oh, that's a little bit... That's okay. Yeah, ideally we get both of the kills there, and we can actually manage a... does that work? No, that's okay. Yeah, just a series of a couple of blizzards will... Goofy push them out of the way. That's a little unfortunate. Not a big deal, though. You're also at the mercy of your party member's AI a lot of the time, which is very notorious in Kingdom Hearts games for them doing the exact opposite of what you want them to do, but that still worked out fine. This world's kind of similar to Deep Jungle, where you just kind of do one thing and head back to the same spot a couple of times. So we're, if you want lore for this world, because everyone cares about that, essentially we're just kind of going around and getting pieces to, quote-unquote, like, give the Heartless a heart, and we're just giving the first of the 2 pieces to the doc now.
But then they're just...
Heart.
Yeah.
I know, it seems a little bit counterintuitive, but just roll with it, so... There's a particular encounter we can get because we're going back to the graveyard now. Hopefully we will... actually, no, I'm thinking of something else later in this world, but if there's a particular spawn that shows up in this place, we'll have to be a little bit careful if we're fortunate. Okay, sometimes you can get white mushrooms, which makes this room, like, incredibly easy. That's fine. And we'll just do a series of fires here to get rid of these guys, and this platforming is very tricky.
We have to count
Yeah,
here.
3, 2, 1, go, and just land there. That's okay, L2. Or not, that's fine. Alright, that worked out well, actually. We can hopefully skip a few enemy encounters here, although it's a little bit dodge roll. And 3, 2, 1, go. And hopefully... Okay, we got that. Right. That's the hard part, so that's good. So a couple extra enemies spawn, not a big deal. Oh, and our MP is good, too. That's nice. Alright, and in the meantime, we're just going to throw an item. 2, 4, 2. A little bit too far away, that's good. And also important we throw the ether during that, because that's one of the few times in the game we're forced to wait by the, like, abide by the game making us wait. And we're not actually losing time casting that item with the animation if we have to wait for the game anyway, so just a very nice utilization of our items there. Gonna use this. I'll use a fire to light the platform. That'll create a nice shortcut back to the main area, which means we can just kind of go from here to there instead of going all the way around, so that's nice. And pretty much we're just going to go back to the lab, and then we're going to go to the real final area of this world, and hopefully on the way we do not encounter a specific thing, because that's just going to lose us a decent amount of time. But we'll worry about that if we have to worry about that, so... Okay, so the real thing that we're worried about is a potential encounter of an enemy called the Black Fungus. If you've seen a couple of the Mushroom Heartless throughout the game so far, you'll know that they just kind of they can just kind of replace your normal encounter with.
They spawn randomly.
Yeah, they just randomly spawn instead of the normal enemies, and it really sucks to get it here because there's no good real way to deal with them. So hopefully, if the game doesn't, okay, that's good. Thank you. We're just gonna now do a series of blizzards to hopefully kill everything. Nice. That's good. Okay, and no real issues there. So there we go. Yeah, that room can be rather hectic if Black Fungus show up. It loses like 10 seconds.
And now for the hard part.
Yes.
We're going to kill the Gargoyle and the 2 White Knights, right?
Yes. Oh, the Gargoyle?
Yeah.
Sure, I guess. I don't know which one you're talking about. Not a big deal, because we can just kind of do some platforming there, get right back up, or not. The ledge is that little railing there is so finicky. That's all good. And this is the notorious platforming we were talking about earlier, so hopefully this goes okay. I'm really hesitant to dodge roll, but that's okay. Kill these 2 White Knights, that's fine, just do a series of attacks. Otherwise, they're going to be very problematic in us dealing with a few things. Okay, that's fine.
Right.
We're going to get on this little edge here, edge a little bit close. 3, 2, 1, jump, or not, that's okay. You went a little bit too early, that's okay. Yeah. So hopefully we can eventually get this, because that is a very notorious way to lose a lot of time.
The first jump is the hardest one.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If we can make it past the first jump, then there won't be really too much issue after that. Okay. But thankfully we won't have to kill the White Knights again since... Oh, we do?
What?
Wow, that's weird. That didn't happen before. That's okay. I guess this game just kind of changed its mind. That's not a big deal. So hopefully we'll do this again. Okay, that's good. Maybe just a little bit further. Okay, 3, 2, 1, jump. Hopefully make it that time. There we go, just cleared it. And 3, 2, 1, jump. Donald tried to get up there. Ah, that's unfortunate. Yeah, that's okay. And get a little bit closer. 3, 2, 1, jump. Hopefully make that. No. Dang, dude, that's so unfortunate. Like we said, it's very unfortunate, and it's very difficult. This is literally like the hardest movement thing we have to do in this.
This might be the hardest part of the run.
Yeah,
actually.
Possibly. This is like this is the scary part, and we'll need like super serious time. It's all good. There we go. All right, hopefully 5th time's the charm. 3, 2, 1, jump. That looks... Oh, wow, dang, dude. That's unfortunate. Man. Yeah, like we said, really difficult portion here. Now, let's get it for real this time. Yeah. Might have to practice this a little bit more, but it is what it is, you know. Okay. A little bit closer. 3, 2, 1, jump. That was perfect. Okay, jump up there. Okay, 3, 2, 1, jump. There we go. We're just gonna walk across here, jump up here, and there we go. First try. Awesome. All right, we did it perfectly. Very good. Okay, now we're just gonna get right up here. We could do a little bit of a faster movement thing up this place. It is not worth it. It saves like It saves like 1 second, and the inputs are very precise. So jump up here. And the ideal strat for this is Blizzard is our best friend, because we're going to have LS, Lock, Shock, and Barrel here, and hopefully, it's okay, maybe press L2 a little bit there, that's fine. They can be a little bit problematic. Okay, thankfully they all just kind of went away, that's cool too.
Except that guy.
Yeah, Lock is being a little bit of a jerk, not getting in the way, but that's not a big problem, let's just deal with you. I think Barrel might still be alive as well, although I'm not quite sure. Yeah, there he is right there. Okay, and Barrel... He's about dead. Right. There we go. Not too bad. I did like 90% of the work there, but that's fine. All right. And very important, this is a very notorious thing that has killed a few people's runs in the past. You must hit this little lever that's right in front of you, otherwise you cannot get to the next boss. You'll find out that you didn't and lose like your entire run.
Also, there's a menu.
And there is a menu where we will be replacing Ray of Light with our White Fang.
And...
That's pretty much it.
Air combo plus.
Oh, that is correct. I'm sorry. Right there. That's going to speed up things a little bit. And from here, we're just going to kind of drop down and go fight our next boss. Which is also kind of notorious for one particular section, but hopefully we won't have too much grief with that.
That section being the whole fight.
Mm-hmm. Well, I suppose, but you know what I mean. So we're going to start this fight off. Initially, we're going to get launched into the arena, but if we jump and target and use a blizzard right at the top, right at the peak of our jump, we'll hit both of those gargoyles right there, lure them over into this portion, and then hopefully just kind of kill them off like that. And now we need to hit the switch where Oogie's over. Very good start to that. I'm going to do a series of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 for maximizing damage. And if I hit him at the very base of his hitbox right there, we can get an 11th hit. And do a few fires while we're waiting, and try to hit back this dice that's coming up here. Like, that's okay. It's unfortunate. Oh, can we get it? That's okay. If that does go through, not a big deal. We just have a brief little animation we have to go through, so not too bad. The only really major thing we have to look out for here is hopefully not pressing the wrong button, because otherwise there's a very long animation that plays, so that the worst that we have to do is sit through that. Okay, he's being very cooperative. Wow. Like, aside from the dice reflect, pretty much a perfect fight, so that's all good. That's still pretty good. It's like dice reflect is already tricky to get, so I mean if we saved that would have been like insanity.
The important part is hitting the correct switch.
Yes, as long as we do that and we're not tripped up for too long, then we're good. So,
otherwise you can lose minutes.
Mm-hmm. Literally.
Yeah.
There's honestly a lot of fights in this game that can just lose you so much time if like the worst stuff possible happens, but thankfully that hasn't happened too much yet in this run, so. Alright. Oogie 2, this fight is literally like pretty much all platform with a few fights thrown in between. We're just gonna, oh my, Sora has like a little weird animation while he's falling there, he's not sure what to do. That's okay. Like we said, platforming is kind of janky here, a little bit notorious, that's fine. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 5 hits pretty much for all of these, with the exception of this last one right here. Because if we do a full combo and hit the fire back at it, that extra damage from the parry will also kill. That's okay. Just jump down here. Ooh, just drop down. Just drop down. It's okay. Dude, drop down. Okay, dude, no, let go.
Press X.
There you go.
You have to press X.
I was. You were holding up the whole time, my dude. Come on now. That's all good. All right, and same thing here. 2 hits, 3 hits. That's good. Okay. And now once you kill 3 orbs, enemies will start popping in, but hopefully if we're quick enough, that won't really be too much of an issue, so don't worry about that. 2 hits, 3 hits. That's good. This orb is really obnoxious, so hopefully we can just kind of get through that quickly. I like to do 4 just for the extra boost. And hopefully nail this. Very nice. A nice little time saver that we took too long to set up, so it didn't really save time. But, I mean, that's good. Okay.
It didn't lose time.
Didn't lose time. Oh, no, we fell.
Hit the wall.
Okay, gotcha. Bang. RNG manipulation. A little bit rough with that manor climb there, but like we said, it is like actually the hardest jump to make in the entire run, so... Could have been worse. We could have missed it 6 times instead of 5, so it's all good. And now coming up is probably probably the most notorious part of the speedrun. We need to get into Neverland, which is hopefully the next world we'll see. And then we say hopefully because once you complete 2 out of the 3 worlds in the middle part of the game that follow Agrabah, so in this case Monstro and Halloween Town, which we have just completed, there is a chance, not a guarantee, there is a chance that Neverland actually shows up when you fly to it, but however, until you have sealed every keyhole in the middle part of the game, which is the middle ring of worlds, there is actually a small chance that you can completely miss out on it, which we'll hopefully not see. It's like a 30% chance we don't get it, statistically, something like that. And pretty much the other world we haven't done is Atlantica. Atlantica's not very practical for the speedrun because it's the longest world. Next to the last 2 worlds, I think it's the longest world in the game. And also the reward we get from that is not worth it. It's just the Thunder Spell, which in case you haven't noticed, we haven't picked it up at all this entire run, because you normally get it from Olympus Coliseum, which is also an optional world. So if we have just base Thunder going into the end of the game, that's not going to be helpful for us. And also, we don't get the Gravity Spell, which we just got from Halloween Town there, which is much more vital to us than Thunder. So with all the factors there, we do Halloween Town instead of Atlantica. We just skip Atlantica entirely because, you know, it's not worth it and it's also not required, but at the cost of maybe a potential like 45-ish second time loss. Yeah. But like we said, it's only a chance that it doesn't happen, so hopefully Hook does play nice to us today. You want to hold it or no? Okay, that's fine. You set me up so I don't have to worry about anything. It's all good.
Maybe this will increase the RNG.
Yeah. 2 runners will double our chances. Whether it doubles our chances at getting it or missing it is yet to be decided.
And
but let's see.
We missed it.
Dang, dude. Yeah, that's just the thing that can happen sometimes, so, oh well.
Of course we didn't miss it during practice.
And that's always the thing, man. It always goes well in practice, and then when there's any involvement for GDQ, it just doesn't work out the way it's supposed to. It happens, man.
It's GDQ's fault. No.
Yeah. Wow, rude, dude. So, unfortunately, we did miss Hookship. I mean, I missed it twice in my marathon run with 1FM, like a a year or so ago. So I mean, if we get it this time, that is some sort of...
you can miss it multiple times.
Yes, you can miss it multiple times, but only normally if you're me. So hopefully...
I missed it 5 times in a row just 2 weeks ago, so that was fun.
I've missed it 5 times before as well, so that doesn't mean anything. We'll definitely get it this try though, so nothing to worry about.
Well, now that you said that.
It's gonna happen, man. Why, you don't believe me? See, I told you. What were you worried about? Nothing to worry about. So yeah, a little bit unlucky there, but you just gotta get through it. And with that, now we're actually gonna go into Neverland, which has a pretty annoying boss fight, and then the rest of it... I force a habit, dude. You didn't even know about it.
You're the one who told me?
I know, so don't tell me. Alright. I don't know, I mean, I love these buttons, man. I don't know, I just want to match for the heck of it. There's a pretty annoying boss fight, but thankfully after that, this world's not so bad, so... Another pretty short world in the game, like along the lines of Wonderland and Monstro, so... Pretty quick in and out. There's only like really 3 fights here and then we're pretty much done, so a little bit of platforming in between all of those, but we'll get through that. So jump here, jump up there, grab the ledge, and hopefully not get destroyed by the enemies on the way there because they love to hit you on the way. A little bit of movement there using a spell to not grab the ledge, and also an attack here to hit the load zone. That was very good. It's a couple of tricky rooms to get through without any slip-ups, so that's good. Yeah, the hit detection on some things can be a little bit sketchy. Also, not grabbing the ledge with the magic. We'll be utilizing that one more time in this world just because Sora has like magnet hands. He loves to grab any ledge that's like within 5 miles of him, so... Jump right there. Pretty good movement on the way to Anti-Sora, so that's good. Hopefully the fight can also be good, though.
This fight can get pretty hard.
Thankfully, we've kind of worked out what we want to try to do, but I mean, Anti-Sora can still just break the rules of his own fight, so...
And our party members can screw us over.
So, here's hoping that,
and
nothing...
the terrain can screw us over.
Yes, this is one of the worst arenas in the game, but hopefully it lets itself well, so let's see.
Oh, good art.
Oh, God, never mind. It was good, it was good.
But we got
That's good. So, ideally here, I'm just going to do a series of attacks until he retaliates again. What I want to try to do is now do a series of 6 hits to kind of force him into the next phase, so if I can get that, 5 hits, that works fine too. He'll go underground. What we're just kind of waiting for is him to get to a certain amount of HP, and Goofy pushes him out of the way, unfortunately. Man, why have party members always got to be so mean to you in these games, dude? Man, and I was just barely whiffed that attack there too. A little bit bad. It's all good. And now we should be in the phase where every 5 hits will actually loop him, so we're gonna do we're gonna do 2 single hits and then a full 3-hit combo on the ground there just to make our life a little bit easier. Hopefully Goofy doesn't do anything here, nor does the terrain. A little bit early on my behalf, so my fault, that's okay. Try to catch him there, that's fine, and...
Not bad.
Not too bad. He can be quite a monster with, if you actually hit the door at a particular time, you can also skip this little animation thing here, but not too important. And a pretty big menu here. I think we should do that right away, just so we don't worry about that. We're gonna replace our Keyblade with Pumpkinhead. We got from there, Ray of Light, and the Raven's Claw, which we just got from that fight. Sora doesn't do it. Nothing for Sora. A couple abilities for Donald here, a couple abilities for Goofy here, and we're gonna take off the top 3 abilities for Peter, so he doesn't use any of his MP. Customize. We're gonna go to. We're gonna put on Stop on Triangle. Goofy will have his support actions. Oh, that's okay. His support actions set to constantly, and Peter's MP items will be set to use immediately. So he'll throw a lot of ethers for us during this next fight coming up.
Also, we did stop there down the ledge to prevent a ledge grab.
Yeah. Similar to the blizzard that we did just a little while ago on our way to Anti-Sora. And in the meantime, this is going to be our first real instance of using a summon, I believe, in this run. So, since we've gotten a couple of them, most of them are useless except for like 2 in this run. But we're going to be using one of the 2 useful summons. We're going to replace Donald with Peter, because Peter's just way better for this next upcoming fight. We're going to summon Simba right out the gate. And what Simba does is essentially his forte is crowd control, similar to how other magic is, and the way it works is if you charge up Simba's roar enough, what ends up happening is it gets stronger and stronger, and when you unleash that blast, if the enemy is weak enough, it'll basically kill them instantly. So for this initial wave here, we're going to do a set of 3 charges like so, that should wipe them out, and then we're going to do a series of full 4 charges, which we needed Ray of Light to actually have enough summon gauge to do this, which is another important aspect about MP. Do 4 full charges there. This battleship will survive, but if we just do a series of hits, nice. Hopefully he doesn't do anything mean. Very nice, clean. And that battleship is pretty much the only thing you have to worry about there. Now coming up here is going to be our first introduction to doing stop strats. We're going to get right up to where Hook is right here, get stop off right out the gate, and we're going to be doing a series of full combos of 4 aerial hits. And hopefully we can keep this going for as long as we can. I believe it's around 8 or 9, I believe, something like that. And we just want to, ideally, oh, that's okay. Yeah, he can break out like so if he's a little bit annoying. That fire might come back to haunt us. Okay, it didn't. Good. Yeah, if you use fire by accident, sometimes that can be pretty obnoxious. He should be very good. Okay, not too bad. He did get away from us for a little bit there, but thankfully no real grief there, so. Not too bad of a Neverland. Anti-Sora was a little bit of a jerk, but I mean, he usually always is. One of the more annoying fights of the game, so. Not too bad. And there is one thing we have to pick up here, but we're just going to quickly seal the keyhole by just hitting this clock 3 times. Very nice. Hitting that hand is so much more, especially because we couldn't see it half the time as well. Can be a little annoying to hit that clock 3 times. That gives us the Navi G piece, and we're almost ready to go to Hollow Bastion, which is our pretty much the start of Endgame, but we have one more trip to Traverse Time we'll have to do.
Yeah, but before we warp, we're going to be picking up the Flare G, and we're going to be doing another menu to put on the Fairy Harp Keyblade and equip Guard, which we just got.
And Ars Arcanum, which we just got, too. As well as the, you said Glide, I think, right?
Yeah, and Glide.
Okay, just making sure.
It's amazing how late in the game you get Guard in this.
But thankfully, it shows up at just the time that we actually need it, so just menu right now.
Sure.
We'll put on Fairy Harp, that's good. And go to our abilities, we'll put on this, and that? Yeah, that, okay, good. And we'll also put on Glide, and that's pretty much it. Okay. And now we have even more MP, that's good. Speaking of MP, it's actually important that we note that for an upcoming part in just a little bit here. And the nice thing about this is, before we do that, we're going to do the gummy menu. I usually do it after, that's fine. And we're pretty much just going to replace one of our engines with this. There you go. Like so. Like we said, it only defaults to what your strongest engine is, so... Oh, shoot. That's okay. Because you might be like, why didn't you just replace the weaker engine? Well, that doesn't really matter. Could have gone either way, and that's obviously the most convenient for us to do, so that's how it worked out. Nice thing is we don't have to worry about toggling warp drive when a world is far enough away, so that's convenient. We're going to quickly stop by the Magician Study to get our next Summon Gem, which, like we said earlier, this will be for Dumbo, which is the Water Gleam.
Spoilers!
Yeah, for 5 seconds, which, like we said, not really going to be useful too much for combat, per se, but it's going to be very important for movement coming up in a world coming up soon. Oh, yeah, jump, that's good. You're looking at me like, what are you doing, man? And from this point onward, we're going to go fight a fight that the game probably expected us to do, like, you know, an hour ago, something like that, so...
It's just more convenient to come now with more strength and abilities.
Especially now that we have Ars Arcanum, which we'll see our first real introduction to that pretty soon. Gonna do a little bit of a tricky movement thing here, but it's really fast if we pull it off, so... Get up there, that's good. And then we're gonna do... get the glide off at the last second. It's good. Try to get a damage boost right there, or very nice. And that's okay, if we move really fast, that might not be a big deal, but... Wait. No, stop.
Fire?
Oh, right, that's fine. Okay, just go. And do an Ars.
Ether, nice.
Yes. Got a free Ether, that's good. And just kind of do a series of Ars Arcanums here. That's okay. We need to kill out all of these enemies just because we need to access that Red Trinity. Alright, there's a lot of them over here. Do that green rep. What are you doing, man?
I think that's all of them.
Yeah. That's good, okay. We got a blue menu. Now we can activate this. That's good. And we gotta ring this bell 3 times, and that will unlock the next boss fight.
Normally those enemies spawn all at the same time, but unfortunately we had extra enemies spawning behind us, which prevented them.
The game can only spawn so many enemies at one given time in a few circumstances in the game, so we just had to kind of clear out a few extra mobs there, but no,
we did a
big
pretty
deal.
good job.
They can sometimes like go off the building, and it's really a mess, so thankfully they all cooperated, stayed on top, didn't have to spend too much time clearing them out. Alright.
And we used a fire before doing the R's so we can have more MP. I know that doesn't make sense, but...
It will make sense in just a minute here, because that orange bar actually affects our MP in a very interesting way. First off, we're going to do this phase here just to knock him down. And as long as our orange bar is past our 3rd MP there, it's actually going to give us 3 MP instead of 2 MP for this next phase here. So we're going to start off initially, we're going to guard this. We'll auto-target the hand-foot thing and do a full R's, that should kill. Do a little bit of damage on this foot, hopefully not get completely destroyed by RNG. That's fine. And then do another R's here, and that should break that right there, that's good. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Now at this point, we should be pretty much all set. Oh, another guard. Nice, got a parry too, which when he's staggered like that, actually gets rid of the parts pretty quickly. Alright, and pretty solid fight, very nice. He can break apart if you're too slow or you don't get certain guards, or he just feels like breaking apart because there's like one random
also,
element.
Also, you can skip the cutscene while the HUD is still up.
For whatever reason.
Yeah.
That's like never a thing ever again. But yeah, that was actually quite nice.
I think I should mention is one tricky thing about doing this 2-player 1 controller thing. Is sometimes you want to guard, sometimes you want to dodge roll, and
they're the same button.
Yeah, and if the person on the left is holding down the analog stick, then you'll be doing a dodge roll. So it's important to coordinate that and know when to stop moving so you can guard.
Especially towards the end of the game when there's a lot of very reaction-heavy attacks. So. And pretty much with that concludes the middle portion of the game, and we'll be moving on to our final, well, not final world, but final part of the game, which is pretty much the end of the world in Hollow Bastion visits that will be coming up very soon. So. Okay. And we did the gummy menu before, so we don't have to do anything here. We will be accessing the gummy menu one more time after Hollow Bastion, just because there is a particular gummy part that does come from that. But you'll see now we have another world that branches off from Neverland. That's Hollow Bastion. That's our next place. That's where we're heading. Imagine if we had a normal drive all the way from place to place. That would be so obnoxious. Okay. This is our third to last. This will be our third to last gummy menu, or not gummy menu, gummy mission of the game. He will be doing stuff in the last one at least, so just keep that in mind for later. But yeah, same thing here. We pretty much just stay still, just hold the attack button and the boost button, and yeah, we'll be in Hollow Bastion in just a little while here.
And he's also not going to be boosting right here because there's a transition.
Thank you. I definitely would have remembered that. You didn't have to say that. Wait a little bit here and just go. Can you actually tank that hit?
Yeah, you can.
I don't know. I from running Proud Mode, I don't trust that, so it's all good. Spooky color background. I love how, especially the music too, it's very sinister. Even though it's just
the same song.
It's a variation of the main gummy theme that's been playing, but it's honestly crazy how sinister. I remember playing this the first time. I was like, oh god, where am I going? And pretty purple background as well. And not really too much else to say. We should be getting to Hollow Bastion in just a little bit here. This is like the last real set of enemies that spawn. Once you see this wall right here, we'll be pretty much right there. Because it'd be like, surprise, you go through the wall and suddenly there's the world! Yay! Alright. Hollow Bastion 1, pretty interesting world. There's a decent amount of movement tech and just general strategy to boss fights that do come from this world, so we'll be getting into those pretty soon. I'm an R3 at the start.
Sounds good.
Okay. Yeah. Once again, making sure that we're coordinating everything, because...
I just realized there's cell shading on the building right there.
Is there?
Yeah.
Huh.
Weird.
Interesting.
The details you notice during 2P1C.
Yeah. You know, instead of like actually what we have to be doing.
You see the cell shading? Right there?
Yeah, I saw it. Okay, R3, just to put the camera behind us. Okay, that's fine. Movement can be a little bit finicky here, but as long as we're moving efficiently, yep, we can make the cycle like so, and we just have to go right here. We would normally have to climb up those platforms there, but I mean, a lot less hassle, and it might even be, it is actually just faster in general to just kind of hit the loading zone that way.
This is the longest load screen of the game. So, the heart spins about
I thought you were going to be
12
quiet.
times.
We should be quiet. Oh, no, don't do that. No, don't do that. No, don't do that. Okay, yeah, I almost wanted to be quiet just because, okay, that's fine. A little bit awkward, and we want to... don't do that, man. Okay, that's fine. Almost fell off.
Soft shortcut gravity.
Oh, gravity, that's right. So,
before we drop down?
Before we drop down. There we go, okay. Right. And I'll press R3 again. Very good. Yeah, it's very important that we acknowledge R3 transition because that literally 180s the camera half the time, so... if I did that on Violin without saying, he'd just be holding a completely wrong direction in context of what we're actually doing, so... And our party members pretty much have betrayed us because we don't have the kingdom, the Keyblade anymore, and their mission is to follow the key, so we're just kind of tagging along with another person here. Beast, I don't know if you've heard of him. He's actually probably the most useful party member in this game, just because...
He's a beast.
Literally. He has a pretty solid damage output, so... We'll hopefully see that being put to use in the few times that we actually do use him here, because sometimes he can just dawdle around and not really do too much. So just a little bit of a switch puzzle here to get from point A to point B. Nothing really too much to say about that. The main reason we're doing this is because the main gate is blocked off, so just a little bit of a side mission before we get into the actual part of the world.
I don't know where the camera's going to be here.
Me neither.
I'm gonna hold right.
Yeah, we'll see. I think you're okay. Yeah, there we go. Right. That was good. You were right that it was right. Okay. Wait just a second here, because the camera might
be. You want to do ground gravity?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. Right. We try to do this in the... Oh, very nice. Cooperation from Beast, and that's pretty much the ideal scenario. If he helps out, he just trashes that defender.
Normally, if you were playing with two hands, you'd be doing an air gravity because it's faster.
But... we tried to do an air gravity, didn't end so well. So we'll pretty much just be supplementing various things that would be like very small time savers that are a little bit more of a hassle. We're just kind of omit those for the sake of consistency. So thankfully this block puzzle isn't as long on the way back as it was to get in. We just have to do those two things and we can just get out of here. So there we go. And coming up will be our next boss fight, which would be Riku 1. I'm not sure how you want to tackle that, but I'd like to...
I thought you were going to flip the camera again.
No, it's okay. I generally like to bait out an attack and then just kind of go ham, so I think we'll just kind of approach and dodge at the last second and then just kind of go from there.
Okay.
So, a little bit of thing to note here. We want to be a little particular and not mess around too much. Just because, okay, that's fine. If we're too close to the dark balls, when they stop doing their little taunting animation, they'll stick around, and we don't want to put up with that because our sword does no damage, and we also want to save as much MP as we can. So.
Also, we do have 2 ethers right now.
Oh yeah, because we got an extra one from the bell tower fight.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't want to waste any MP if we can help it, so getting far enough away from the spawn allows us to just avoid that entirely, because like we've said before, you can't really interact with stuff in this game unless there's no enemies around and there's a blue command menu, so very vital that we do that. Riku 1's a little bit sketchy of a fight, because ideally we want Goofy to be using Tornado a lot to auto-parry while we get ours Arcanums off, but let's see what happens. Okay, that's fine. This is looking pretty good start. That's exactly what we want to see, and hopefully we can just kind of keep this going for a while now. He got hit out of it. That's okay. Donald coming in clutch. A little unfortunate. A little unfortunate there. What's it called? Let's heal. Yeah, that's good. Oh, Donald came in clutch for once. I swear his AI is better in this particular fight.
That was a really good
That was still really good. He got away from us for a split second, but that beginning was excellent. That's exactly what you want to look for. Donald just bopped him one more time for good measure.
Gotta make sure he's defeated.
And now we pretty much just have a pretty long section of ascending the castle for a good like 5 or 6 minutes, so we're just going to go right into the library, do a series of puzzles, and yeah. Not really too much to explain here, we're just kind of going from point A to B, but there will be a couple of particular movement things we'll be doing after we get out of this next portion, and hopefully nothing really dumb happens, because coordinating this next part with 2-player and 1 controller can be a little bit daunting, but I mean, if we could survive the manner jump, oh, I hate when that happens. If we can survive the manner jump, we can survive anything, so.
We're doing liquid glide, right?
No, we're not. Liquid glide, there's like a little thing you can do as soon as you activate the last portion here. If you have like a very specific angle, you save like 2 or 3 seconds, or you lose like 30 and you lose your run.
It's not worth it.
Not worth it whatsoever. Yeah. Also, the targeting for these candles can be very sketch at times, but... Okay, there we go. And essentially, we're just going to be doing a series of just really random tasks like breaking pots, moving statues, lighting candles. Pretty much.
This is Zelda.
Yeah, you name it. This world's got it. So, our objective here just to get the 4 emblem pieces to unlock the door, so we can move on to the next portion of Hollow Bastion. So, little mini puzzle area that's barely even a puzzle. Yeah, want to make sure Violin's on top of that L1 button because we've had a little bit of a... Yeah.
This is so awkward. Target switching is hard with one hand.
Yeah, it really is. It's also weird to do a few things on this side. That's okay. Alright. There you go. Thank you. Yeah, L1 and, like, especially, I'm glad that R2 has, like, no purpose, because that would be terrible. Yeah. So, that's good. And we're just going to grab a piece of metal that was in fire 2 seconds ago. No problem with that. And then pick up the few things. Yeah, there's a little bit of a special movement you can do there, but it's a little finicky.
Well, we call it the Tony Hawk.
The Tony Hawk. You basically store momentum and get like a super big jump, but it only saves like a little bit of time. It's not a big deal.
It is a big deal. Tony Hawk is
it's probably it's probably the coolest looking movement in the game, to be honest. So it is what it is.
Alright, so for the Wyvern section, we're just gonna go.
Oh, you just want to go?
Do you just want to? Yeah.
What I usually do is I wait until I see the first Wyvern lock onto an enemy, and then I go.
All right.
So we're just gonna kind of wing it.
You just tell me what.
No pun intended. Yeah, I'll make sure to give you the go, and then we'll pretty much just go from there. You know, just do the basic inputs. Jump over this guy for safety. Let's see what this guy does. Hang on just a second. All right, go. Oh. That's fine, yeah. And hopefully, there is a chance that they could follow us over here, and if that is the case, we can just finish them off. We just want to make sure we don't fall, because the trek back here is quite annoying.
I think we're good.
Yes, yeah. We are, okay. Right. That can be very sketchy, just because the Wyverns... yeah, good. The Wyverns can follow you over, and a red menu can persist for quite a while, but thankfully they did cooperate that time. It should be consistent, but Wyverns can sometimes just have a mind of their own, and you just have to wait a while, but... Thankfully, that was the best case scenario. Alright, and now we're going to move on to this elevator. We're just going to kind of get in position. We'll hotkey Dumbo because we're going to see Dumbo being used very soon, actually. I'm going to wait for these guys to spawn in, target the first wizard that shows up, kind of coerce Donald and Goofy to go after that, and we're going to go after the other two with Sora. So, just have to wait for the right moment. It does take a bit for them to load in, so there we go. There we go, and I saw a tornado, that's good. Very nice, they took care of that. And as long as we don't get bopped here, very good. Alright, very clean. This has actually been a pretty good Hollow Bastion so far. Yeah. I shouldn't have said that, but too late now, that's good. And we're also just waiting now for... I mean, I guess, why not? I wanna do... Are you stopping me from doing the thing? I wanna clank on the wall. Do not move the D-pad while I'm doing that. Oh. Yeah, that's why, man.
Oh, that doesn't really matter.
I guess because we have stop hotkeyed and everything, so or shortcutted rather. Yeah. And this Trinity is pretty sick. It gives us 2 cottages and a Mega Elixir. That Mega Elixir is actually going to be important for probably the most difficult mob fight in the entire game. But we'll catch up on that literally in the last like 10 minutes of the run. So, important thing to note, we have a Mega Elixir for a mob fight towards the end and 2 cottages, which a cottage is basically a Mega Elixir that you can only use from your menu, which fully heals the entire party's HP and MP. Okay.
So dodge roll 3 times.
Dodge roll 3 times. This will be our utilization of Dumbo for movement. So 1, 2, 3. Summon Dumbo.
And then flip the camera.
Flip R3?
Yeah.
Yes. And I'm going to... Oh, that's going to be weird. I got this. I'll press R3 and then quickly ascend. I think that's our best bet. So I'm going to press R3 to flip the camera, and then I'm just going to ascend immediately. And dismiss Dumbo right when we're at the peak, and just barely avoid the enemies.
Almost got sniped by a wizard.
But we made it in there. And that's our first instance of 3 Dumbo skips. The second one I'm a little bit nervous about, but the third one is identical to that, so we should be okay. Alright, so we're going to make sure that we target Maleficent for this next thing. Pretty much, we're just going to go right up to it. We're just going to use a few Ars Arcanums on our next boss here, Maleficent, and then finish up, do Ars Arcanum, air combos, and Ars Arcanum, basically. So, L2, that's fine. Okay, that's good. And now we're just going to do, we're not going to use the finisher, because that will force her. That will stagger her, we don't want that. So next up, we're just going to do a series of combos here. Goofy put in some work with that tornado. Want to get to her around half a bar, that should be good. And then just this Ars Arcanum should finish her off. Very nice. Okay, good.
Way better than
Absolutely.
what we did in practice.
Yeah, it's because I didn't target her, so that was just really awkward, but it worked out.
Okay. Donald.
And probably the most difficult fight to execute. Well, that's debatable. It
We're gonna
depends,
need some serious time.
and we're gonna need some serious time. Ideally, we're gonna do the same kind of thing we did with Hook earlier and use a series of stop loops for this. If we do this properly, we will not need a single item to heal our MP. But we need to be very meticulous. We need to do a series of 6 hits, as well as very closely timed stops, in pretty much in succession the entire time. So let's focus. That's okay. Oh, maybe if we're lucky. Oh, that's okay. She should only have... That's only 1 hit left. I did a 3rd hit without thinking. That's my B. That was still... Oh, come on. Get over there. Let's heal for safety. That's fine. So a little bit of... oh, my goodness. Dude, please heal. Oh, my goodness. Please don't die. We're 1 hit away. That's fine. There we go. Not even close. We got it. Yeah, that was my fault because I did a 3rd hit. I usually do a 3rd hit when I do that, just for a little bit of extra MP, even though it's not necessary. That's just what I always do. So that was definitely my fault. But that was pretty much like, aside from like the heart attack ending, we did a pretty good job there. And this next fight is actually going to be predominantly like my side because there actually isn't much movement that's really needed for it. But yeah, that's probably one of the most difficult fights to kind of coordinate just because it's very imperative both sides of the controller working really well together for that. So coming up next is going to be our final fight for this visit of Hall of Ashen. This will be the second of 2 Riku fights, except this time he's possessed and stuff and freaky stuff and other darkness, I don't know. And yeah, general strat here, we're going to be trying to avoid a desperation move, which is an attack, which is the Dark Aura attack where he goes around the arena a lot. I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with that. And essentially, we're just going to try to get him into second phase and then just start a loop where he retaliates every 4 hits. So initially, I just like to get a stagger and then just a few hits in there, like so. And depending on the pattern that he gives you, just do a series of R's right as he's going to retaliate. And then once you see this, he'll enter the next phase. Gonna try to time it so I stagger him like so. That's good. And then I'm gonna try to do a series of, well, you can explain.
He's just looping up. He wants the second hit to connect with him while he's doing his spinning attack. Good. It's really, really hard to time.
So basically, you're only normally supposed to get in 4 hits during that, but if you're very quick, you can get in an additional hit before he gets staggered the first time, which will give you 1 extra hit of damage to speed that fight up considerably. So that was very good. In general, aside from that Drakenmouth thing, it was a pretty good Hall of Bastion. And hey, as long as we didn't die, that's all good. Really have to drill into my mind not to do that 3rd hit there. That's just.
And we got Ragnarok from that fight, but it's completely useless. It does so little damage.
A lot of people misconstrue that that's actually where you get Ars Arcanum, but I mean, we just used Ars Arcanum to fight Riku, so here comes the most exciting part of the game. We're just playing as a shadow for like 30 seconds, literally. We're just gonna kind of go back to the beginning of the world now. There's a lot of big story stuff that just happened, but we're doing a speedrun, we don't got time to explain that.
Jump off.
Yes, the camera is maybe a little bit questionable compared to what me and him are used to.
Yeah, my camera is different.
Yeah, it's all good though. Getting stuck on that rail there. I'm telling you, Mendoras are like your nemesis in this game, dude. Our nemesis, even. Okay.
Alright, coming up is the hardest part in the run. I'm gonna let you concentrate.
Yes. I want you to concentrate too, dude.
Oh, right.
We're both in this together. Okay, so. Just gonna...
You're doing all the work, though.
Okay.
Alright.
Enter this cutscene, and hopefully, if I'm not bad... Hey,
Oh,
we got
that was clean.
bonkless.
That
Very
was
nice
clean.
clap, I guess. I don't know. and it's just a little meme thing there there's actually a visual cue to tell you how fast you skip that cutscene in particular. And it's generally considered in the community that if you skip it before Donald hits you with the staff, then you skip it really fast and you're good at the game. If Donald hits you with the staff, you might as well reset.
Yeah.
That's generally how that
Exactly.
goes. So this run is amazing because we got that one really good cutscene skip. That's how it works. And just more story stuff. We have to talk to Sid to advance the next thing, and then we're just gonna head back to the waterway. And not really too much to explain. It's very synonymous with Traverse Town 2, except a lot shorter. We're just going to go from point A to B to C until we've done everything we need to get back to Hollow Bastion.
And we could be save warping right now, but that's actually 2 seconds slower.
In this case, yes, it is. If you were playing on English, it would be ideal because, well,
There's no way. There's no other way.
You can't get into this actual place because you would clip through it. But as it is open, we might as well just go here the normal way because it doesn't take long to load the rooms, and we have a clear passageway into this place anyway, so. Go over this part right here. This will give us our final Navi-G piece for the run, and with that, we just have to get back to Sid now.
There's also a cool cutscene glitch you can get here. Maybe we can show it off again.
Potentially. We'll see what happens.
There are also some other new glitches that have been found.
Mm-hmm.
They're not practical, just funny glitches.
Yes.
Just useless, funny glitches.
We'd have to use the English version, though.
Yeah.
More on that later. Potentially. We'll see. Now, in this case, it actually is faster for us to... yeah, just going zigzagging. It is actually faster for us to go from Merlin's place in order... Don't touch the Blue Trinity. There you go. From Merlin's place to the accessory shop because there's just less time to actually get to this save point than there would be if we were going to Magician Study from the accessory shop itself. It sounds a little bit complicated, but just trust us.
Whether we save time just there, I have no idea.
It's a lot easier anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, talk to Sid one more time. We'll be on our way to Hollow Bastion 2, or Hollow Bastion.
One more gummy menu.
Yes, there will be one more gummy menu that we're actually going to be doing. We didn't explain this when it happened, but when we did that wyvern, the thing with the wyverns to get that one chest off to the side, that was the Haste 2 gummy, which is exactly what it implies. It's like the Haste gummy, but the 2 makes it better. And it will actually allow us to go faster through these remaining 2 gummy missions. And since gummy menus don't take really any amount of time, it is ideal that we just put that on. So, just going to toggle over really quick to that. Yeah, put it on there, that's fine. I wasn't sure what you were doing, that's good. And now we're done with gummy menus for the game. Hey, okay. And now we just have 2 more gummy menus and really just 2 more visits to worlds, and we can be done. I'll take that. Yeah, it's one of these things again. No movement really required. He will be doing quite a bit for the final mission, though, so it's all good. And this is the only real instance in the entire game where we'll really see anything like this, but there's something very particular about this specific gummy route, is once we make it far enough into it, it is actually possible that we can technically finish it without actually finishing it, and you'll see what that means in just a little while here. Originally, back in the PS2 days, before people really ran Kingdom Hearts 1 Final Mix, you could not quit out of gummy missions, but
Boost here.
oh, don't, thank you. Fellow runner, shoutouts to Spike Vegeta. His main contributions have been dying in these games, and from that we've actually found a skip that we can do in this mission. And essentially, it's right after this portion right here. We're gonna get through all of these gummy ships and make it to this next load zone. And once we make it to this next load zone, we can actually quit out of the gummy mission, and it will somehow complete the route to Hollow Bastion, and we can just kind of warp drive from there.
There's one piece of wall there that's glitchy.
So we just wait. Once we see that load in, we can quit out of it. And in the original, Spike just died in that portion, then check this, and we could suddenly just go there. And yeah, we can skip the rest of that gummy mission by just quitting out there.
What made him check if Hollow Bastion was there after he died?
Because in the original, I think, like, you couldn't move the cursor, like, it was, like, kind of on, like, the set of, like, the lines there, and you couldn't just free roam, and I think he might have just, like, hit a direction, and it loops back around.
Oh.
And I think he was like, wait a minute, what? So, pretty cool discovery. I'm gonna R3. So we're gonna swap Beast with Donald, R3, and now we'll go from here. Oh man, I'm surprised that worked, but I mean easy.
Menu?
Oh, menu. We'll do that. Let's do that at the top.
Alright.
Alright, that's fine. We do have to wait for a cycle anyway, so it's not really a big deal.
do it here.
Okay, let's do it here. That's fine. We're just going to. Oh wait, yeah, Oathkeeper. No, Oathkeeper. A little bit carried away there. Item. No, wait. Yeah, Sora. We're gonna put on Leaf Bracer for Sora. Beast's top ability comes off. Bomb ability goes on. These bottom 3 abilities for Goofy come on, and Tornado comes off. And Tornado, or Cheer for Donald primarily.
And customize?
Customize Gravity. Thank you very much. I would have forgot that. That's good. Because I have Gravity on at this point. Alright, good. And let's hotkey Dumbo. That's good, right there. Because our next Dumbo skip is actually coming up in a little bit.
This is the harder one.
Yep. You want me to dodge roll or no?
No, I'm just gonna walk.
So ideally we're just gonna spawn an enemy, because we need enemies around to use summons. That's okay.
This one?
That's good, yep. Be a little bit tighter. Okay, that's fine. Jump up. Use that. Cool. Okay, good. And if we're quick enough, we don't have to be like super fast here, but we just want to make sure we don't get sniped by the wizard. So I'll just give you time. I'm gonna press R3 after you dismiss, by the way, so that's fine.
You already did.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Up there we go. Okay, and by using Dumbo there, a little sketchy there, but by using Dumbo there, we can skip around going through those rooms, and hopefully that wizard. There we go.
Nice.
Doesn't bother us anymore, and we can just go. Okay, that went a lot better. Wait, camera can be funky. There you go. The last thing we need is to dodge roll back down there, and then enemy spawn. It gets ugly, so not too bad.
We're gonna position Beast a certain way so we can potentially kill all of the enemies here. So we want him right there.
He feels like it sometimes. I mean,
yeah.
we'll just hope. Ideally, we're just going to kind of coerce our party members by... We want to be in the air, because if we just press... Triangle button forces the AI to do stuff, like, and attack the enemy that you're targeted on. And we're going to do it in the air so we don't burn an Ars Arcanum. Hopefully, that's okay. If Beast does the thing now, that'd be really cool. I guess he doesn't just feel like it. He got bopped out of it. That's unfortunate. If you're unlucky, hey, he killed one. That's good.
Wow.
Wait a little too long there. Unfortunately, Beast just doesn't feel like doing it sometimes, so. But I mean, that fight was still okay. Like, we didn't get really tripped up too much. It's just, it goes super fast.
I've actually died here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because the wizard was spamming thunder.
Yeah,
that was pretty bad.
As long as that wizard dies and it's not really doing anything for too long, usually not a big problem there.
We have another Dumbo skip and then the final boss of this world.
It's pretty much the same as the first Dumbo skip we did in the first visit.
Yeah.
But yeah, like we've already done pretty much all the story stuff here, aside from the world boss, which is just like really random. But let's roll with it anyway. And so, like pretty much everything we've done, we're just repeating to get right back up to the top.
And 3 dodge rolls.
3 dodge rolls. 1, 2, 3. That should be fine. I hope so. Yeah, and I'll press R3. Yeah, just a few reminders. Hopefully, we'll have this down at some point. But it's kind of hard to practice this because obvious reasons. But flip that, ascend. Get right in position. That can be a little tricky. That's okay. Just take your time with it. Go. Very nice. Okay. We had to be a little bit careful there, but it worked out. That was fine. Not even close. We hit all 3 Dumbo skips. Really nice. And we're gonna stop by this save point really quick, just because we basically just want the MP for a bunch of Ars Arcanum spam in a little while. So, okay. We're gonna jump over this guy. If you try to dodge roll, it ends badly most of the time. So don't do that. And now we get to actually go explore this room, unlike the last time. But we're not really going to do that too much. We're just going to head right into where the keyhole is located. So that's good. A little bit here, a little bit there. Use a little bit of glide just for a little bit extra height. And here is Behemoth. This Behemoth is considered a boss type enemy, so we're actually not going to use any gravities on it. We will on later ones, since they'll be pretty common in End of the World. But our main idea for this fight is just to unleash a load of Ars Arcanums. Got a nice second Arcanum there. Unfortunately, a few hits not quite hitting there, but that's still fine. And he'll have these periods where he'll just kind of be vulnerable and then be weak again. Use a dodge roll to dodge that. Or we could have used... okay, that's fine. Just wait. It's fine. That's our first instance of Leaf Racer, which we put on a little while ago. That basically allows Sora to not take any damage during attacks if he's in the middle of a curing animation. Get down there. And also, we gave Goofy MP gift, so now he will be throwing MP to us whenever we fall below 3 MP. So
we're good at dodging that somehow.
He threw MP on... Wait, no. Oh. Screw it, man. Oh wait, maybe we can just get it. Oh,
Wow,
very
dude.
nice. That was planned. But yeah, if you're fortunate and you do a high jump when Behemoth is lowering his head a little bit, you can actually hit the. Oops, sorry about that. You can actually hit the horn while that's going on. So pretty nice. And we just have anime now, so.
Fun fact: Leon has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 belts.
10 belts.
Plus 3 on his arm, so 13 belts.
Wow, that's I never knew that. That's freaky, dude. Well, you should have saved that for like potential GDQ run. All right, and this is the long-awaited part where we both can just take a break for a little while, because this is aside from the intro and ending, this is the only cutscene in the game. Well, I guess there is another one that can't be skipped, but the only one we have to see that cannot be skipped in the game.
So, who's singing a Disney song?
Sing over the intro so we don't get copyrighted. And then it matches the intro song so we still get copyrighted.
YouTube.
But yeah, that is gonna pretty much do it for Hollow Bastion, and we're gonna be moving on to the last world, which is called End of the World.
What a
I love.
clever name.
I know. I love that the keyhole trophy for this world is called End of the World. I don't get it either. It's like, what do you mean?
What?
do you mean End of the World? This is Hollow Bastion. But I guess Square just kind of does their thing. I don't know. There's also a great chance for a bathroom break whenever you're doing runs, because the best runs are when you have to use the bathroom during this portion. They always PB. It's kind of a pun, I guess, but that's okay. But yeah, pretty much from here we're gonna have like basically no downtime for the rest of it.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be just an onslaught of continuous fights and one more gummy mission, and then just they throw everything at you in this last portion of the game. We just got Firaga there. Not really that important. It would be important to know that in other categories, but that's like our only max level magic we're going to get.
Menu.
Before we leave this world, we are going to replace Ray of Light with Omega Arts, just because we will need a lot of strength to deal with some of the... kind of going away a little bit from magic and focusing a lot more on physical attacks for mob fights. And yeah, here's our final gummy mission. And
So
yes...
don't boost here. And also,
Don't
I'm
boost
doing
here.
stuff. Wow.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's actually controlling the ship during this. That's crazy.
You can die pretty easily here, even on beginner.
Even on beginner, yeah. Especially because you're going so fast from the haste 2G that we put on. That's always the sketchiest part about higher level runs, especially because if you're going that fast, if you so much as like nick anything, you just kind of die. So a little bit stressful, but thankfully we have two coherent people at the helm, so there should be no issue here.
Mostly coherent.
Mostly coherent. I guess time will tell in this next world. All right. And once you see these wave of Omega ships, you're pretty much at the end. Just got to survive this patch. A few more meteorites that we have to go through, and we're basically going to be done with gummy missions at this point. Just one more boost. We should see our next world in just a second here, and there it is. And say goodbye to gummy missions, because we will not be returning to we will not be back to the world map any longer. So here we go. And this world sucks, I guess, just to be blunt. Mostly because of
R3?
R3, yes. Mostly because of one particular enemy known as the Invisibles, which, speaking of which, we're going to get thrown into right away.
Hold L1 this
Hold
time.
L1. Ideally, we're going to try to get a few gravities off and use Ars Arcanum to finish, so... Okay. Oh, and Don gave us a bonus gravity, and if we get in there with that Ars Arcanum, hopefully we can kill a few enemies here. That one is a little bit away. That's fine. Oh, he came back. That's good. He's right in our way. Very nice.
Really
DM-less. Excellent. Okay. Yeah. It's good if we just get a single DM during that fight. So to get an entire DM skip, that was almost perfect, but unfortunately we did get hit at the last second, so that did screw it up a little bit, but we recovered it perfectly fine. Pop a heal, why not? Just so we're at full health.
Oh, sure.
Why not? I mean, the last time that happened, we kind of had a little accident, so that's fine. We'll still have a good amount of MP for this next part coming up, so it's all good. And same general thing here, we're just going to use some gravities. I'm not going to press R1, there we go, and we're going to make our way over to the Angel Stars, kind of in, it doesn't really matter if it's in the order, you need to die, because if that move gets off, oh jeez, if that move gets off, he does duplicate himself, but no issue there. This has been great so far. And thankfully, the hard part is basically over now. Behemoth should be the easy thing, although platforming up him with two people might be a bit of a challenge. We're gonna pop a cottage, which our first of, well, we only use two, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't pick this one up. There's a cottage there if you want for safety, but we won't need that. And like we said before, it's like a Mega Elixir from the menu only. We'll be utilizing that one more time right before we get into the final set of fights, because obviously, if you're not going to use it then, when are you going to use it? So.
Right, so 1 gravity at the start.
1 gravity at the start, and then we'll do a barrage of gravities afterwards. So this behemoth is actually a normal enemy, so gravities will work pretty well. If you just look at that health bar, you'll see it's kind of going down really quickly. Use all of the gravities, get right up in his hind leg. Just kind of wait a little bit here, jump at the last moment, dodge roll. That's okay. That's still fine. And ideally we would like to see a charge up, but I mean, that's fine. Oh wow, that was really good. But a few more sets of R's after those gravities should do fine. A few cleanups at the end,
right.
Not too bad. I wasn't sure if we were going to dodge roll there, or like, I don't know, because I felt like we weren't going to make it in time. I didn't think we were going to make it in time from those little projectiles he shoots out when he does that particular attack, so.
I'd also just like to say that about 6 minutes ago, Templeton just got the first 209.
Holy moly, really? Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Wow, dude.
Cool, bonus for the GDQ submission. Alright, and we're going to replace our Raven's Claw with the Ray of Light, just because we'll need a little bit of, extra MP for this next part coming up.
What was the exact time?
I'm looking that up now because Rebel just tweeted it. So.
That's crazy.
Damn, that's crazy.
It is a 209.54.
Very nice
Wow.
time. Hey, now no one has to play KH1 ever again. Fantastic. Alright, so coming up here, in this particular segment, you'll notice there's some blue pillars and there's also some like pink pillars.
Yeah.
The blue pillars indicate worlds you have not sealed the keyhole to, and if you have not sealed the keyhole, you have to fight out a mob fight in order to actually progress. Thank you. And here's our next utilization of Simba. This, I believe, is our second last time. And what we're going to do here is, initially, we're just going to do a series of 2 charge-ups, just because we want to get the initial stagger on the enemies here. Like so. And then from here, we're going to try to do a series of full charges. Hopefully the air soldiers don't body us. There we go, that's good. And pretty much, we have 2 more waves after that. And then after this final wave, Violent's gonna key that dismiss, and I'm also gonna press confirm, because that will also get the last roar off while also simultaneously dismissing Simba for a very minor optimization right there. And the only other world we're gonna have to visit that we haven't done, I mean, we will have to visit the 100 Acre Wood thing, just because there's a save point there, but this next terminal coming up is the Atlantica terminal. And same deal goes. We haven't even set foot in Atlantica or Olympus, so we have to do the couple of mob fights.
Finn, actually.
Sorry. We don't discriminate against fish here. Alright, so a couple of fires here, and then as soon as this next wave loads in, we're going to use gravity there, and then a series of fires on these guys. They should all die in 3 fires consecutively, like so. Very clean. Good.
I actually didn't switch targets the second time. I don't know how that happened.
Interesting. But yeah. Especially in fights like that where you're switching around a lot, these fights have been going extremely well, just because it's very easy for just everything to kind of just go wild, and if the moment there's a slip up, like everything just kind of goes to chaos, but thankfully that hasn't happened yet. Hopefully it will persist until the end, so that's good. Stopping by this just for the save, and also that Mega Elixir in there, we'll be using that for the final set of fights coming up here. This next fight of Invisibles is terrible because it's in a tiny corridor. We're just going to kind of use gravities and pray that nothing really dumb happens. That's okay. Just get rid of you. Use an Ars Arcanum, why not? Ours is good for a little bit of mob control. They all just kind of fell right into our pathway. Last guy here. And got a DMless. Don't leave. Okay, good. If you actually... yeah.
Mega Potion?
Mega Potion, we don't want that. If you actually leave when you kill them all, they all respawn, so that would have been bad. Same thing here. Gravity is good. I'm sorry. L2. No, that's fine. L1, dude. Oh. No, that's okay. Yeah, that's what I mean, man. The synergy kind of goes. Oh wow, that Invisible's dead right. You know what, man? Let's just do physical hits. He's right there anyway. And Kira might do us well too. That's good. That's what I mean, man. It just takes one little slip up and then things go to chaos. But we had a pretty good recovery there, so that's good. Alright, so here is Chernobog. There's a couple patterns he can open up with. This is the good one. We're just going to kind of be doing a series of attacks, and there's really only 2 things we're kind of specifically looking for here, and that is depending on the patterns we get, like, coming after this and how our attacks actually go out, go behind his head really quick because he's doing the fire attack. Want to try to get him under his 3rd bar of health here, although we're going to be cutting it really close at this rate, that's fine. But if we're very careful, I love how Donald's just dead there. If we move a little bit quickly, we should be fine. Just need a few more hits. We will be good here, hopefully. There we go. Okay, and from this point onward, we also want to see if we can get him down to under 2 bars of health before he blows us back. This is very good. Very good damage.
Wow.
We should be fine here. And yeah, so we've avoided one particular attack. He's going to try to queue up that same attack again towards the end. A series of combos here, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and nice. Very good fight. Okay, excellent. Also touching the ground here, so we enter the load zone immediately upon skipping this cutscene. Now here comes probably the scariest part. Touch this load zone here. The camera's spicy. Put on Super Glide. Let's not go in that. That would be bad. And we're just gonna kind of glide our way down. We're just gonna zoom in every direction possible. That's good. Okay. And we only have a few real usages of Super Glide, but it's basically our fastest movement. Okay, that's fine. And yeah, we'll use it for pretty much all the movement remaining, aside from minor stuff. This behemoth, same as the one from before, is very susceptible to magic. Or gravity in this case, and yeah, I was trying to remember if we use all the gravities there or not. That's fine. Use ours there. Stop a little bit short. Oh, that's okay. Maybe we can get back on there. Very nice. Good. Easy. Okay. Just a few more gravity, or a few more Ars Arcanums here. Clean up a little bit with physical attacks, and then pop the. Oh my goodness, we have quite a few items there. That's okay. We'll just deal with that when the time comes. It's okay. We probably should have checked that on the elevator. It's all good. But we popped that Mega Elixir we got from Hollow Bastion here to fully heal ourselves, and now we're going to do a series of magic with fire on this Dark Ball Wave, and then a series of gravities on the Invisible Wave to follow, and we'll focus on that because it's very focus intensive, so... Oh, thanks for the arrow, Donald, and a couple of fires there. Let's head over to this side. Hopefully this works out okay. A little bit early on the spam, but that's okay. Hopefully not get bodied too much. Hopefully Goofy throws something our way. Physical attacks. Also paying attention to our MP, I'll let you know if we need to heal. Are you the last one? Yes, you are. All right, good. Ooh. Really fast, actually. Wow. That could have been like that fight. Even when there's one player can go to chaos just really quickly, and that was actually relatively controlled. I don't think we've seen a single invisible DM. That's crazy. That's crazy for 2P1C.
I got a final rest like that, but didn't realize that I did, and spawned Simba too late.
Oh no, dude. Hopefully that's not the case here. I can't really see behind me. Hopefully I'm not getting sniped. Okay, we should be all set. That's good. Yeah, I was like that. Those angel stars did kind of spawn in a little bit early there, so that's fine. But now that we have 9 MP plus the 2 cheers from our party, we can pretty much use Simba to clear out every single wave after that set of invisibles. That guy's coming for us, but we're gonna deny him, and we have just enough summon gauge to use this last one here. Alright, pretty good final rest, all things considered. That was very nice. That's the best one we've had by a mile, so that's good.
Let's just pop all our items right
now. Right now? Or before we want to go through?
Well, when we enter.
Okay, we're just going to go through here. This is going to be our final resting point for the game, and don't mind us. We're just going to make up for the items we didn't pop earlier.
That's fine.
No, wait, we still have another item, dude. Okay, that's good. And also open up this chest here, which has our last Mega Elixir of the game. And we're just going to do we'll start from the top. We're just going to put on all of our items, 2 elixirs and 3 Mega Elixirs, I can count. We're going to go to Sora, replace that with that, and Goofy gets Ray and Flight for MP. Sora gets, MP Rage and another Combo Plus, and Goofy will also have MP Haste, I believe that is, and I think that's everything.
Yeah.
And so this begins pretty much the final series of fights coming up here. This will be basically pretty much all 4 forms of Ansem and the couple of fights that intersperse all of them. So we gotta go to the secret place to cue the cutscene. And ideally for Ansem 1, the terrain is just really obnoxious to deal with here. But we're gonna try our best to try to get him into a selected corner and just hopefully able to keep him there the entire time with some very precisely timed attacks. Opening is also random, so we have to kind of think on our feet here. Okay, get that, nice, get a parry right off the gate, that allows us to push him a little bit forward there. Use an Ars every time he tries to bring his Guardian forward, unfortunately not getting staggered there, but not a problem there, we still got the loop going. And that's pretty much going to be our general strat for most of this, hopefully. is just be able to loop him with Ars Arcanum indefinitely, as well as staggering him with the initial combos that follow after the fact. Okay, that's good. If we can push him a little bit that way, that should be fine. Just stun him. Get in front of him again. That's a little unfortunate. That's okay. But we can still...
There we go.
Yeah, when he does this attack, that's still fine. Use Oh, he didn't do the attack. He baited me, dude. Oh, we got a stagger anyway. All right, that's fine. Not what we're going for, but I mean, this whole run is practically improv anyway, so that's fine. He's getting a little high in the air there, but thankfully his HP is getting a little bit down. Yeah, sometimes he just kind of traps you like that. That could be good, actually. Okay, that's fine. Want him to go back over here. Dodge that attack with a very precisely timed dodge roll. Ooh, he's going for the double. That's a little unfortunate. That's okay, though. Whenever we're in this sort of state, we want to be careful of, yeah, that exactly. Hopefully, heal. Ah, dang, that's unfortunate.
That was fast.
Yeah, sometimes when you, like, one really unfortunate thing there is when you land on the ground like that, you actually lose your iframes immediately upon getting hit, and that's just another reason why the terrain is so unfortunate here.
I think it's the first death screen to cutscene skip that I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's really interesting, actually. Let's not do the same thing here. That's okay. And unfortunately, getting a little bit of a worse pattern here, but that's okay. We still got him staggered. We'll just kind of work at it and see what happens. Whenever he's in the middle of the arena like this, we're just going to try to manipulate him to go over. This is looking okay so far. Okay, very good. And now just get a few more hits in there. Let's use an Ars Arcanum, and we're pretty much back to where the initial strat was. Ooh, a little bit clutch with that parry there. That's good. And do another Ars Arcanum. That's good. Thankfully, Goofy is just feeding us MP like this entire fight because we'll be staying at a general threshold where, I don't know what happened there. That was interesting. Might want to pop a... Yeah, let's pop a cure. That's good. Okay, that's fine. Thank you, Donald. He's been curing a lot this run. A little surprising there. Okay, wait until he does the thing. Now let's do that. When you're doing your Ars Arcanum, you actually have iframes initially, so a good time to use that. That's good. And let's stagger him again. This fight's going a lot better than the last one. I shouldn't say that. That's okay. Can we get the stagger again? That's good. And we have just enough for another Ars Arcanum. If we're lucky, that won't quite kill, but we should be set up for... Oh, he did a full 360. Ooh, that's okay. Got him. Okay, and we should be able to get the kill right here. There we go. All right, nice.
It's a hard fight.
The terrain is literally like actual garbage during that, so... If you can survive the terrain, usually you're good to go. Last menu of the run. Yeah. Oh, right. That's good. We're going to pop that last cottage. We have perfect item usage. And equip Tornado back on Goofy, just because of a little bit of extra damage. And let's go. You're into final fights. Going to do a series of 4 hits here, right into an Ars Arcanum to bypass those damage frames. Do a couple more hits. Don't do the finisher because of the long cooldown. And do this again. Okay. Missed a couple attacks there, but if I'm efficient with my combos here, that shouldn't matter. Now we'll do a series of full hit combos. This should be fine. There we go. Very good. Okay. And we also want to build up as much MP as we can, because we're going to be utilizing Ars Arcanums to hopefully get a DM skip on this next fight here.
We're going to play it a little safer than usual.
Okay, that's good. Nice reaction time there. And pretty much every time he puts his Guardian front, we can just jump behind and get in some extra damage there. Gotta be careful though, because sometimes you can still hit the like parry type hitbox that coexists with the Guardian there, like that. So just have to be really ideal of where my positioning is with everything. So okay, that's good. And we're gonna set up now. Okay. Okay, that's good. And this is a little close to the wall, but this should still work. Good. Okay, there's the initial one. Couple hits here. Here he's gonna do the charge. So guard right there, that's good. And do a series of another attacks. I think, oh, I'm not used to that, that's fine. Okay, I guess, I don't know, this might be janky. No, we can still make this work, it's okay.
Quick.
No. Dodge that. Oh, the clutchness. There we go. All right. Little bit improv there. He's normally supposed to be more aggressive than that, but
I thought he was gonna DM.
Yeah.
Most of my fights.
What ended up happening there is because of a really strange thing that happened. He just didn't do the attack I was expecting, but we still managed to work that out. So that was good. Okay.
4 hits and
4 hits and an arrow. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's okay. Normally we would tank that hit while casting the arrow, but it is a little bit hard to coordinate that. Let's do a heal the next time he attacks. No, that's not it. That's fine. Okay. Okay, there we go. Alright. And pretty much we're gonna do our best to do as much damage as we can. Ideally, we'd like to see... What's it called? We like to see 2.5 bars of health gone.
We got
Let's
it.
cure. Oh no, that's fine. Whatever.
Heal.
Okay, that's good. I need to not go back on what I say every time. And let's buff for another arrow right as soon as this next attack comes in. So it should be coming in right about now. So let's get that going. And at this point, might have to buff for another use Leaf Racer. Let's do it there now. Use Leaf Racer to avoid damage again. But at this point, we're pretty much just going to be wailing on this guy until he's dead. So arrow is very vital here because you can see even with oh, heal. That's good. Yep. Even with arrow on, we're still kind of losing health pretty quickly here. Okay. Oh, come on. There we go. A little bit bopped at the end there, that's good. And a build up just shy of 5 bars of health, just so we have a little bit more MP after we use our first Ars Arcanum here. Okay. And yeah, we're just gonna kind of unload on these guys. They pretty much all die in one hit. Unfortunately, a little bit of a rough pattern there, but that's okay. Use another Ars Arcanum. We might not, yeah, it looks like we're gonna have to kill a little bit with physical hits, but that shouldn't be too big of a deal. That was good cleanup. Normally they would die in 1 to 2 Ars Arcanums, but a few hits isn't a big deal. Pop this arrow because we're gonna need full MP for the Ars Arcanum strats on this next artillery fight coming up. So the ideal strat here, we're gonna get right behind the 2 larger tentacles right here. Land on the ground, hopefully not get sniped. It's unfortunate when that happens. Let's heal. It's good. Yeah, a little unfortunate there, but that's okay. Let's try that again. Might be a little bit janky because we don't... Actually, our MP should still be fine for this. Go over here, use Ars Arcanum again. And then, oh, nice. That's good. And fly back over there, kill this guy with a full hit combo, hopefully. And dock, or land again. And good backup, yeah. Considering that start, that's basically how that strat goes, except we don't get knocked away the first time, so not too bad. Alright, and we're gonna pop another item, like so, and we're gonna do the same strat like we did in Final Rest. We're just gonna unload fires on these guys. Should die in 2 fires each, although it is possible for one to kind of body block the other, but this is going well so far. Wow, okay, yeah, so, and once they get pretty close, use an Ars Arcanum. Ah, dang, that one guy just DM'd me at the end, that's okay. There's another guy over there. Yeah, get over there. Goofy going in. Oh my, what the heck? Why are you all the way over there? That's good. Okay. Let's use... What do you want to use?
The Mega Ether.
Okay, let's do that. Build up a little bit more MP. And hopefully Goofy will not die, like, immediately, because his tornado hits actually do pretty decent damage to this guy. But this is the face. We're going to start off by popping an arrow. Popping an arrow. There we go. And pretty much we're just going to buffer through with Cure using Leaf Racer to avoid damage, while also just being super aggro. I would say we take one more hit. Okay, now we'll be okay. That's fine. I was waiting until the next attack. That's fine.
I see what you mean.
Yeah. Okay. And just pretty much keep going with that. That's fine. Let's do a cure again, and we should probably pop an arrow in a second. Right now, that's good. Perfect. And take that hit. And when he does his next charge of attack, like so, let's just cure again. Just keep doing that. And pretty much every time we see like that super rage phase, we'll just use a cure to... Oh, what happened there? That was weird. I don't know. Just going for the chin strats, like a new little attack there. That's good. Okay. Ah, my bad. That's okay. We should be able to finish him off here anyway. Okay, maybe not. Maybe not. Yeah, a little bit of a clunky fight, but it still worked out. Okay. Okay. Heal Goofy, and we're gonna toss a Mega Elixir. That's gonna fully heal him because if we don't do that, he'll have like half HP, half MP. We'll want to have that fully set up. So, Invisibles here. Same general strat as always. We just be using what's it called, Gravity and Praying. So wait a minute. Hopefully not get bodied too much. It does hurt when you get hit by that initially, but we're looking okay. And Ars Arcanum, hopefully to finish everything off. And oh man, one got away. That's unfortunate. Almost got the DM-less, and that's the only DM in the entire End of the World that we got. So that's good. Yep, Gravity. And just a few physical hits. Not too bad. And a free elixir. Why not? Let's pop that right now for the memes.
Alright.
Why not? I mean, why not? We're gonna have one for the fight before it anyway.
Also, if someone in our lovely audience can hit the timer when we finish the final boss.
Yes,
yeah.
Okay. And here we have, this is the second last boss of the game. It's not even really a boss fight. Here, I'll show you. 1, 2, 3, dead.
Wow, that was hard.
Let's toss the second last Mega Elixir. We'll be using the last one actually during the Desperation move of the final boss. So, final boss time. First person mode. And, well, once again, we're gonna start off by, really, dude? We're gonna start off by popping an arrow. And we're pretty much going to do similar things to how the face goes, the face fight we did a little while ago. We're pretty much just going to be using cures to buffer through any source of damage while also like healing ourselves. Goofy putting in a decent amount of work there. I think we should pop another arrow while we're at this.
I think we should cure.
Okay, that's cure. That's fine. And we're gonna just do a series of movements here to try to hopefully get in a little bit of extra damage.
No.
Okay, that's fine. Throw that there. Take a little bit of damage there. That's fine. We'll probably do one more arrow just for safety a little bit here. As soon as you see that attack, just pop that arrow. Like, use it like right now. Okay, that's fine. But like here? No. Yeah, cure. Okay, that's good. And we'll just kind of finish him off now with these series of attacks here. Okay, and that should do it. 226, not too bad.
Not bad.
And that was our 2-player 1 controller run of KH1 beginner ranking percent. Alright.
This was Violent Gamer and MistMaster1.
Thank you very
so
much
for considering our submission. Yeah. Bye. I guess.
See you guys later.